Icebergs, a collection of entries that cover the in-depth, the scary, the dark secrets of any particular franchise. It can be obscure lore, fun facts, or maybe something that goes further beyond. You guys most likely know of the Iceberg concept via Mario 64, and it's gone way further than that. Other video games, anime, literally nothing is safe from the Iceberg trend, including Love Life. Now, what is Love Life? Love Life is a multimedia franchise involving school idols as they dance and perform. They have multiple anime seasons, multiple games, a ton of books, basically any sort of media you're thinking of, they have it. Starting from their humble roots with Muse in 2010, they've grown to a debatably healthy 6 to 7 groups. It's a series that's full of love, full of adventure, full of Yuri, and full of fun facts. This isn't the first time Love Life has been covered in an Iceberg. There's actually been multiple, spanning across Reddit and even YouTube. Here are some that have already been created, but I want to do my own take on it. So during a 6-hour live stream, I created a Love Life Iceberg with the help of everyone watching the stream. It was a clusterfuck, but we created something that was worth making a video on. Now, some disclaimers. This was made partially as a joke. Since this was live streamed, there was often peer pressure and joke entries made in the spot. Along with that, I was losing my mind mentally while making it. It wasn't that serious, don't worry. But because of that, the entries for these placements aren't exactly perfect. Like, some should be higher and some should be way lower, and we tried debating it since what can be considered obscure is different between a new and old Love Life fan. So the most I can say is just hop along for the ride, ignore the horrible placements, and just see if you learn anything new. Also, I kind of had to rush this, so I sincerely apologize if this video is considered low effort. My other videos usually have way more editing, but due to the length and the time constraint, I can't really defend myself, so sorry. Also, I've been sick, so if you hear my voice die, that's also a reason. Damn, these circumstances suck. With that being said, let's go down this interesting road of Love Life. And if you aren't a part of the series, then I'm sorry, I'll do my best to explain it. Also, spoiler alert for everything. Ice Cream is a cross-group subunit created by the Love Life franchise, with most people knowing them for their famous song, Ice Cream. It was formed in honor of All Night Nippon, which was a radio program that the seiyus partook in. This program has been around for a very long time. If you know about that really weird official Super Mario Bros. ROM hack, that was because of All Night Nippon, and there's some videos going to the history of the radio program. It's really interesting, go take a look. Anyway, this group was very interesting as it's the first subunit group to contain members across different groups. Ruby Kurosawa is from Aqua, Ayamo Urahara is from Nijigasaki, and Shiku Akana is from Liela, all from entirely different generations of Love Life. Cross-group performances weren't frequent back then. It happened during Love Life Fest, which took place on Love Life's 9th anniversary, and only got a boom towards the 2020s. Their blow-up came from when they performed their single at the Love Life Asia tour in February of 2025. Thanks to Love Life fans, specifically the unofficial subreddit r/LoveLife series posting and sharing the Ice Cream performance, it soon became famous for some bizarre reason, with the official Love Life TikTok taking advantage of it. Even as a Love Life fan myself, I still don't know why it got trending, but a big part of it came from the section where the seiyus asked each other what their favorite ice cream flavors were. This particularly had a huge impact on TikTok, where many edits and templates were made because of it. This is probably the one thing Love Life is known for nowadays, besides a couple of other entries, and they have milked the hell out of it. Multiple music videos, multiple live performances. If you don't even know Love Life, you probably know this entry at least. It's not going anywhere, as the subunit has been extremely successful and is getting another song for the trading card game. Nico Nico Ni is the iconic catchphrase of the one and only Nico Yazawa from Muse, or Love Life Squad Project, the group Muse appears in. In almost every form of media she's in, this catchphrase is used at least once, and actually does have an interesting backstory. A big part of Nico's character is all about making everyone happy, as Nico means happy, fun fact, and the reason why she says this catchphrase is thanks to her father, who would use it frequently with her when they were happy. Unfortunately, her father would pass away, but she still uses the catchphrase as a way to both remember her father and spread happiness to others. This gets reflected in her personality, as she tends to be over the top with her actions for her goals due to her house life situation. Kinda bittersweet, but you probably know it thanks to the countless memes that were spread around. This catchphrase served as a big part of anime memes back in the mid-2010s, so if you're an old head, aka Unk, then you probably recognize a screenshot or any of the memes referencing the catchphrase. I'm sorry if I sound like I'm skimming over it slightly, but to be fair, it's been over 10 years. I'm sorry to break that news to you if you still think it's new. It's not. Hit or Miss is an infamous video by TikTok user Nyan Nyan Cosplay released on September 10th, 2018, in which he made a lip-sync video on a diss track Mia Khalifa while in a Nico Yazawa cosplay. This video would blow up across social media in the following months, with many referencing it via the lyrics that were in said video, which were, hit or miss, I guess they never miss, huh? I'm not finishing the rest, but you get it. While the hit or miss meme would evolve more into an inside joke towards those who know, its origin is connected to Love Life in a weird way, and you may sometimes see Nico associated with hit or miss thanks to this TikTok. I'm so happy, I'm so sad is a famous TikTok clip in which Mario Hara, a character from the Love Life group Aqua, says, I'm so happy, before saying I'm so sad after being clicked on.
I'm so happy! I'm so sad!
This was recorded in the mobile game Love Life Squad Festival All-Stars and was released on October 1st, 2021. It would blow up very quickly, with many users using the audio for funny memes that many of you have most likely seen. Pretty simple, show something happy, then show something sad right after. I won't lie, I'm not surprised this one blew up. Snowhalation is one of the most famous songs in Love Life's discography and was also their second single. Released on December 22nd, 2010, this single would serve as really Love Life's first big boom, as its first single, Boku no Live Kimi to no Live, sold only 434 copies, leading many to believe Love Life was doomed. The song itself would make an appearance in the second season of the anime, which aired on June 1st, 2014. Now, its prominence on the internet was in large part thanks to Silva Gunner, a channel comprised of multiple individuals who create fake OST videos that could be mistaken for the official thing. It's kind of a weird thing to explain, but essentially, this channel is known for uploading fake video game soundtrack videos that turn out to be remixes of different songs. A bait and switch essentially, and many of their soundtrack videos just so happen to be remixes of Snowhalation. Apparently, it was controversial to many users who saw this force, but I won't even lie, these remixes go so hard and you can easily see why Snowhalation got as popular as it did. I mean, the fact they used bait and switch means a lot of people got tormented by Snowhalation to a certain point, which was... bruh. Aside from memes, it's a very iconic song in Japan, and was the most popular Love Life song until Ice Cream popped up. To almost every Love Life fan, this is an essential song to the franchise. Just saying Todokide is enough to act as a sleeper agent to any fan, even if they don't interact with the series anymore. Love Life School Idol Festival is a rhythm-based mobile game based on the Love Life franchise released in 2013 in Japan and later in 2014 worldwide. This game would serve as a core part of Love Life, helping many people get into the series thanks to the discography, the stories, and the many cards people would cosplay off of. The game would become incredibly successful, prompting many spin-offs for consoles and other mobile devices. It was alive from 2013 to 2023 when it was announced the services would be shut down. It remains an iconic part of Love Life and one of the many elements people know Love Life for, as during that time, there weren't that many rhythm games, specifically on mobile devices. It also served as people's first introduction to gacha games and the god-awful horrible rates that were present. After SIF shut down, a sequel was created for it, and that sequel was... School Idol Festival 2 was the sequel to School Idol Festival that was released in 2023 in Japan and released 2024 worldwide. This sequel would include animated sprites for the characters, new stories and cards, and include elements of every Love Life group present, either it be characters or their respective songs. The core gameplay was the same, but given the visual touch-up. Now this game, it had a shit ton of issues. Sorry for getting personal here, but the game wasn't very good with how transferring from SIF worked, as the only thing you got was getting to see the cards you obtained in the album, which was the equivalent of a JPEG collection. You couldn't even use it in gameplay, which makes sense, but it felt lazy for some reason. It was an incredibly half-baked sequel, failing to fully utilize elements from previous entries of the SIF franchise, including the original and All-Stars. And keep in mind, those two games shut down, leading this one to be the only game in the SIF franchise. But that's all small potatoes when compared to the one thing SIF 2 is known for. SIF 2 has been shut down just like SIF 1. SIF 1 lasted almost a decade. How long did this game last for? Less than 12 months. It came out in April 2023 for Japan and shut down March of 2024. And for global, it came out in February of 2024 and shut down in May of 2024. That gave it less than 6 months to live, and it wouldn't have been bad if it wasn't announced the way it was. The EOS tweet refers to how School Idol Festival 2 was originally announced worldwide. SIF 2 had already been out in Japan for almost a year now, so the day it got announced globally was exciting, and also fucking stupid. In the tweet announcing it, they gave us a February release date, but just a few lines under, they also announced that the game would shut down May 31st, leaving worldwide fans only a couple of months to enjoy the game. This tweet was so fucking horrible that it reached many corners of the gaming and gacha community, to which they rightfully made fun of it because it is genuinely one of the worst ways to advertise your game. Love Life fans still have not lived this down, and has been one of the most disrespectful moves you can do to your fan base, especially those that have supported the game since the start. Love Life is primarily known for its music, producing a variety of genres sung by different groups and members. From solos to subunits to group songs to cross-group songs, the diversity in what songs the franchise has is frankly absurd. There are even songs that are bilingual, or fully in another language that isn't Japanese, such as Mia Taylor were fully fluent English songs. They have over 500 tracks, which is absolutely insane, so if one Love Life song doesn't really appeal to you, then another one most likely will. Love Life has had many anime seasons to focus on their characters, songs, relationships between said characters, and also just to advertise their series. A majority of people most likely know Love Life via the anime, and that was intentional. Create an anime season to get people to love the characters, and hope they dive into other aspects such as the music and merch. There are over 10 seasons of anime on the Love Life franchise, focusing on different groups and generations. It used to be common practice for every Love Life group to receive an anime, but towards the 2020s, things have slightly altered, with groups such as Hosta Sora and the musical not receiving anime adaptations. At least for now. When ice cream began trending, there was one seiyuu that got a lot of attention, and that was Wakana Okuma, or Kuma-chan. Cookie and Cream Girl, as many would call her, thanks to that being her character's favorite ice cream flavor, was pointed out heavily due to how beautiful she was. Speaking from personal experience, every time I came across an ice cream post beginning from March, at least one person would mention Kuma-chan, and she's definitely become a big part of ice cream's legacy. Alright, layer 1 is dead. Hopefully my voice gets better. I'm sick, you can easily tell, but this is pretty basic info. Most of this is common stuff that even non-Love Live fans would know about, so let's kick it up a notch. And reiterating once more, this is my first time doing an Iceberg and it was live on stream, so if any placements seem off, that's because they are. I am sorry, but let's ball. Nestleberries are the most famous type of Love Live merch you'll see. These adorable horizontal plushies with lifeless eyes are so cute and are also very easy to stack. Now, while these kinds of plushies existed before Love Live began making them, they were the first to sort of trademark them and officially began producing them thanks to Sega. So in that case, they're the ones who created Nestleberries. Beginning in 2015, almost every Love Live group has had Nestleberries of them, either be their default school outfit or an outfit they use in a performance. They come in all shapes and sizes, including small ones that can be keychains to ones that are almost as big as you. Alongside the anime seasons that are produced for this series, they've also had a plentiful amount of movies. Usually the process would be that a group would receive 2 anime seasons and then a movie, which is what Muse and Aqua would follow. These movies usually had more production value and would involve them traveling to a new location. It basically serves as an excuse to show cool spots and also have songs take place there. Movies are still a part of Love Live, but they definitely changed how they do it for a group. Nijigasaki is getting a trilogy of movies, and it was recently announced that Hospital Sword is getting their own single movie. The Yohane spin-off series also had a movie, but that was a compilation of the anime season, which doesn't fully count, but it was premiered in theaters. If you ask me, I do like having Love Live movies, but it does make it annoying to watch because you have to wait an extended amount of time before it gets official subs, or even released over here. Rina-chan Bordo refers to a drawing board / device that the character Rina Tanoji wears. As she isn't able to visually express emotions, this board is used to express what she's feeling. During many of her performances, she wears an electronic version of her board, allowing her to flip emotions on the fly. This has made her one of the most unique Love Live characters in the series, and a lot of intrigue was initially put onto her because her board hit her face, leading many to wonder what she looked like. The origins for how she obtained the Rina-chan Bordo are different in certain continuities. In All Stars, she starts off already using the Rina-chan board, while in the anime, she has a whole focus episode in order to obtain it like a Marvel TV show. Sometimes the logic of how she switches pages on her board doesn't make sense, that she can change it in a millisecond, but sometimes for comedic purposes. Shipping in the Love Live fanbase is plentiful, as many characters have relationships that'll make you say, wow, they look cute together. Childhood friends, rivals, there's a lot of dynamics and interactions that can make anyone ship characters with each other. If one character has even glanced at another, chances are they're gonna be shipped, even if they're not in the same group. I was debating talking about shipping wars, but for the sake of not being murdered Halloween night, hashtag you palm, okay, moving on. School idols are the idols we follow in all of the Love Live groups. Idols that sing, perform, compose, while also partaking in their daily school activities. From what we've gotten so far, high school is primarily the setting for these school idols. Once you graduate, you're officially done being a school idol, and that serves as a plot point for many of the groups who have to deal with that fact. It's treated like you're dying, even though it really isn't that serious. The reason characters become school idols are unique to them, and serves as an important point for why the character is part of a group. This applies even more to Nijigasaki, which consists of solo idols that work as a group. I doubt we'll get to see college school idols, but with the potential Hospital Sword is bringing, we might just see something similar unfold, but Love Live was created via the culmination of many companies working together, with Sunrise being one of them. Sunrise, who you may know for Gundam, is responsible for animating Love Live, you know, the anime music videos, anime, etc., all that jazz. As for Bushiroad, while they weren't there at the start, they've been responsible for publishing the School Idol Festival series. They also published the new trading card game if any of you have played that. If you were an old Love Live fan, hearing these two should be common knowledge to you considering how intertwined they were into the series. Sunrise is still around of course since they do animation, but Bushiroad's presence has lowered due to the shutdown of SIF. Umi Meme Face, or Umi Poker Face, refers to a facial expression Umi makes in Season 2, Episode 5 of Love Live School Idol Project. Umi sucks at having a poker face and old maid, and makes a bunch of facial expressions that were used for a bunch of memes. It's nothing too complicated, but chances are you've seen this template be used before, as it was in a bunch of anime memes in the mid-2010s. Know Your Meme even states that it was added as a sticker in Line, a free Japanese messaging app, so that probably increased further use of it. Love Live has had many rivals to challenge or inspire main characters in terms of school idol activities. Starting from A-Rise, these groups would make frequent appearances and serve as a sort of impending force for the group to become stronger and better than them in massive quotes there. It wasn't anything too serious, as they all become chill with each other after a certain point. As time went on, more of these rival groups would have a bit more presence in the Love Live franchise outside of the anime. Saint Snow, Aqua's rival, got their own single, music video, and their own live performance. Sunny Passion, Layla's rival group, got a single released. Sometimes a rival doesn't need to be a group, it could just be a solo idol, such as Rian, who eventually joins Layla in Season 3. Nijigasaki also fits into this section, as you can consider all of them rivals because of the solo idol concept, but Shioriko, Lanju, and Mia would serve as the best example. In Season 2 of All Stars, Lanju would take some squad of members from Nijigasaki to create her own group, the Association, creating a long rivalry with the Squad Club that I talk about more in my own video focusing all on her because it's kind of a clusterfuck. Either way, it ends with them joining the group. Switching over to Hosta Sora, they also have a rival that joins the group after, with Saras and Izumi. I don't know what's the trend of having the rivals join the group, but it is very funny. Also, Layla partially has another rival in the form of Kanon splitting off, who's the leader of Layla, so yeah, damn. 98 refers to a tragic moment in Love Live Sunshine where the applicants for the school Aqua attends, Edano Hoshi, only totals to 98. For context, if they got at least 100 students to apply for the school, it wouldn't be dismantled. It serves as a huge plot point for Season 2, so this moment hits like a truck. It's even more impactful considering Aqua's connection to Muse, the group that was able to save their school by being school idols. So the fact they weren't able to do that is tragic, and it's a meme because of that, you know, funny number, 98, 98, shove 98 everywhere. When you thought of Love Life, you probably just thought of the one group, Muse. But then Aqua came, and now there were 2 groups. Fast forward to 2025, and now we have over 5 groups, with all of them still getting some form of content, either it be music or art. It can be overwhelming, and serves as a talking point for certain Love Life fans. But hey, with how big Love Life is, there's something for everyone. Muse and Aqua are the first 2 groups of Love Life, and chances are, the groups you think of when Love Life is brought up. They served as the face of Love Life during the 2010s, especially with the presence of Squad Festival being at its peak. It wouldn't be a hot take to say those years were the peak of Love Life, not only online, but in convention spaces as well. I've been doing research on how it was like back then when it was just Muse and Aqua, and it genuinely was everywhere, even in the cosplay scene. Even if the other groups are still around and thriving, and I love them just saying it right now, no doubt a lot of people will recognize Muse and Aqua on a first glance basis. As stated earlier, Silver Gunner is a channel that posts fake OST videos that are actually remixes of it, combining other songs and motifs that are done to troll you or surprise you on how good the remix is. Many of these songs or rips have Love Life sprinkled into them. I talked about Stillhalation, but many other Love Life songs are in these remixes. In fact, some serve as a basis for one, creating multiple references within references. Their rips were responsible for many people getting into Love Life, including some of my own fans and friends. I recommend listening to them if you ever get the chance. Small Nozomi is a small version of Nozomi created by Triple Q in 2015 on Tumblr, and is prominently used in many of Silver Gunner's works. She's usually associated with Snowhalation, and apparently there's a lot of lore in Silver Gunner as she's a partial protagonist, which is what? This is a rabbit hole in itself, but Small Nozomi is a very large part of Silver Gunner. She's gotten a Smash render and a crap ton of art. It's enough to the point that I feel like you could recognize her without even realizing she's from Love Life. As of the publishing of this video, the groups Muse and Aqua have disbanded both in the in-lore story and also real life. The disbandment of Muse was a very impactful event for the entire franchise, as this was many fans' introduction to the idol franchise and weren't used to just seeing a group graduate/disband. The graduation of Muse is a huge topic in itself, how it created separation in certain Love Life fans, and how it served as a talking point in when it disbanded and why it disbanded. And despite saying they disbanded, it's not like they're dead. They came back for Love Life Fest, got a new single, and occasionally pop in for live performances here and there. The seiyus even came back for new voice lines and stories in Love Life All-Stars, but yeah, no new songs or performances for the most part. As for Aqua, they just disbanded a couple months ago, and being frank, it isn't at the scale that it was for Muse. They're still gonna appear in multiple lives, especially if Ice Cream's still being around, so it isn't too bittersweet. Either way, a group disbanding/ending is a very interesting subject for Love Life, and it's happened enough times for people to get scared a group is gonna disband every time a new live concert is announced. Seiyus, or voice actors generally, are the ones responsible for portraying a character in a series, more specifically an anime series. They voice for them, sing for them, perform as them, and even look like them. For Love Life, a big part of the charm was seeing the songs and performances in the anime be performed live by the seiyus themselves. They do the training and singing just like the characters themselves, adding a level of immersion to it all. They still are themselves, but they play into the bit by acting as the character themselves and what they say. This has led to many people associating the seiyus as the characters, which is, yeah, that's their job, but I understand what they mean. Especially when the seiyus represented characters so well, like that casting is perfect. With a long-running series like Love Life, they've no doubt created patterns of characters and events. These are called tropes/archetypes, and I'm gonna use Fire Emblem as a reference point. For example, almost every Fire Emblem game has the red and green horse guys, they have a paladin that is overpowered at the start, stuff like that. Love Life is full of tropes. childhood friends, the gremlin character, foreign characters, the student council president that hates idols, the orange hair protagonist. As you keep engaging with the series, you'll notice more trends the Love Life series does. When Aqua came out, there were memes saying how every Aqua member was a copycat of a Muse member, which is incredibly funny. Some tropes such as a school being saved by school idols are subverted, which is really cool, and it's really clear nowadays that Love Life knows the tropes it's created. This is part of a trope that Love Life does, but they frequently have characters slap one another in usually a very serious scene. It happens between Umi and Hanukkah, Mari and Kanan, and Mia and Rina, although that one was just on the hand. Physical violence doesn't happen that often in the Love Life franchise besides a certain other thing, so these kinds of actions stick out the most when you're watching it. I can't believe Love Life would support these kinds of actions. Kotodi Bomb, or Kotobomb, refers to the first opening of Love Life, where Kotodi makes a sudden appearance in the frame in a sort of bomb-like fashion. It was similar to a photobomb, in which you suddenly appear in a frame or video. Because of this, many fans have dubbed this the Kotobomb, and have used it in a bunch of memes. Within the Love Life franchise, it's been referenced a bunch of times by other groups and characters, so it's also a trope as well. It's joke? It's a phrase said by Mari Ohara from Aqua. Her character is known for saying English phrases, and although they're sometimes not grammatically correct, the amount of time she does it and the way she says it has become a meme, with its joke being one of them. Remember me talking about how Muse disbanded? Well, it created a lot of confusion and sadness within fans, and when Aqua was announced around the same period this happened, this caused many fans to be upset, seeing Aqua as a replacement. You won't see it much nowadays because 2025 bro, it doesn't matter, but back then there was heavy hate towards Aqua for existing after Muse disbanded. Many called it a copycat, an imitation, and aspects such as season 1 of Sunshine kinda pushed that truth unintentionally. Aqua was put in a really bad spot being the group after Muse, but in a more positive light, it did create a stepping stone for other groups to walk on without being forever compared to Muse. In all of the seasons of the Love Life anime, insert songs are included in certain episodes. These songs are usually a culmination of what the episode represents, and serves as an advertisement to go buy or stream the song if you liked it. These songs hold a ton of memorable charms of the episode and the characters involved. It's one thing to have a good song, but it's also another for the story behind the song to also be good. It can heighten the experience is what I'm saying. Washi Washi is an action that Nozomi from Muse does when she grabs someone's breast from behind. It's an infamous aspect of Nozomi, and it's usually treated for comedic purposes despite saying it out loud you're probably like, what the fuck? This is a trope in itself, as Mari, a third year like Nozomi, also does this. The Washi Washi gets referenced a lot in the Love Life fandom. I wouldn't say nowadays, but back then it was prominent as no character was safe from it. This trope has definitely been lowered as time went by. Kaden had a bit of it at the start, but you won't see much of it nowadays. Until you do. Love Life has incorporated CGI or computer-generated imagery since their first music video in 2010, and as you can see, oh my god, they used to get a bit of shit for their CGI, or 3D models, because of how uncanny they could be. This entry isn't just to shit on the CGI though, it's to praise it. The CGI for the series has evolved as it's gone along, and I think a lot of people will say Sunshine, more specifically Sunshine Season 2, is when the CGI becomes higher quality. As we move on to Nijigasaki and Liela, the CGI is so good that it blends in so well that the transition can't even be noticed in certain shots. If there's one reason to watch Love Life in release order, it's to see the evolution of the CGI. Kasukasu is the nickname given to Kasumi Nakasu by multiple characters in Love Life Nijigasaki. She herself hates the nickname and gets angry whenever it's used on her. Via the Love Life wiki, the word Kasukasu means just barely, or not quite, which when put with Kasumi's character being the cutest and the best, it's not surprising why she'd get upset at that. The wiki also says bullies in her past used to call her that, but I can't exactly verify that right now, so if future Noodle finds the footage for this, please put it here. I love Kasumi Nakasu, but I will in fact also call her Kasukasu because she deserves it. Honoka Kosaka is the leader of Muse and can be seen as the main character of Love Life. She serves as a beacon of hope and incorporates a ton of Love Life's messages regarding hopes and dreams. Since she embodies Love Life as a whole, you can see her presence in almost every form of Love Life, either be the Genki energy characters have, or the leadership roles that push their group forward. Without Honoka, this series would not be what it is, and I think even if you're a casual Love Life fan, you'll know how important she is. There was a prominent meme I saw around which went, "What part of blank do you not get? I'm in love with you," that had a picture of a very familiar image of an anime girl in the background. This was Aimu from Love Life Nijigasaki. Chances are if you scroll through memes, you've come across this template before. All-Stars refers to Love Life School Idol Festival All-Stars, the next major entry in the School Idol Festival series. Initially teased as Perfect Dream Project, or PDP, this entry introduced 3D models and music videos in the mobile gaming space, since the arcade version of Sif was already out. Adding a ton of elements such as bond stories and individual characters, this game would add a lot of content for Love Life fans, but would fail in many departments such as the gacha, story, and gameplay. I won't try to be too subjective, but the shift from a more rhythm-based game to an RPG-focused one was enough to kill a majority of fans at the start. In Sif, F, you could have the worst cards and still be able to play for the song, but in C+, if you didn't have good cards, you would die and be unable to even finish the song. And also, the story. Again, not trying to be too subjective, but when your story deadass hits your revenue, then you really gotta question what the fuck you've been doing. The reason why it's lower than the other games is that its downfall and presence isn't well known to non-Love Live fans. But to any Love Live fan, you know what this game was. I feel conflicted because it had so many good things, but the negatives are so huge. Anyway, next section. Alright, we finished our second section. My voice is still dead, but we covered some memes, covered some info that casual Love Live fans would know. Now let's up the ante once more, with some obscure lore that you may or may not know. When Love Live All-Stars was initially teased, it was by the codename Perfect Dream Project, or PDP, as fans would refer to it as. The group that was associated with it was Nijigasaki, and it was established like that at the start. There's a lot of history of how Nijigasaki was created, but that's not exactly the topic here. What is the topic is the distinction between PDP and Nijigasaki. PDP refers to Love Live All-Stars, the mobile game, while Nijigasaki was the group associated with PDP. Due to the weird structure of this, many fans used to call Nijigasaki PDP, and it wasn't until around All-Stars was fully revealed that people started calling it Nijigasaki, because at that point the codename was already retired. It's not the biggest deal, but nowadays it's become a pet peeve. Remember when I talked about how Love Live was created via multiple companies? Well, Bandai Namco and Atlantis are some of the other companies involved. Bandai Namco has a huge involvement in the franchise, basically being responsible for a bunch of the merch and songs if we're going off the company name. There's never really been any specifics, but with how big the company is and how much you see them plastered over any Love Live work, I'd assume they have a major role in the series. As for Atlantis, they're a music label. Love Live produces music, so music label. Yeah, I honestly forgot why I placed them lower than Bushiroad and Sunrise. In the performance for the insert song Miracle Wave, performed by Aqua, Chica does a backflip at a certain section. The episode, which includes Miracle Wave as an insert song, places a ton of focus onto this backflip, as it's revealed this move was supposed to be done by Kanon years ago before she said fuck that. This backflip is retained in the live performances, as Anju Inami, the seiyuu for Chica, does the same moves. Now listen, I get that some people doing a backflip is easy work so you won't really get it, but this backflip isn't always easy to do. For Anshan, it was so stressful that she cried when she first did it. Some people see the backflip in a negative light as it puts a lot of pressure for a 5-second move, and I personally agree, but it does make the song and performance memorable. Love Live has had a multitude of CD dramas consisting of the Love Live characters doing stuff. Radio dramas are what they're also called, and there are a crap ton. It's kind of hard to find English translations for these, and the canonicity of some of them can be debated, but if you understand Japanese and want to see little adventures of the cast, feel free to listen to them, if you can find them. Within every group in Love Live, there are little mini-groups created inside them called subunits. These subunits have their own songs and events that specifically feature them, and all of them usually have a certain genre/style attached to them to make them different from one another. The number of members per subunit fluctuates, and as of recent times, we've had cross-group subunits with Ice Cream, showing that the potential for subunits can go beyond just one group. The subunits really do add a lot of diversity in the Love Live series. So many genres of music are focused on because of these creations. r/Love Live refers to the unofficial Love Live Reddit that's been created and used for years. Not much to say about it, they have their own community and do a lot of amazing stuff for the Love Live community, like guides, collabs, and events. To me personally, they serve as an amazing way to get info about Love Live. A lot of Love Live info and thoughts and opinions is actually really hard to find, and while Reddit isn't the most accurate info, the fact I can find orb forums from over 10 years ago has helped me with research a lot. So thank you r/Love Live, but also can you guys start removing my posts immediately when I post them? I'm sorry. Love Live has many games, and this isn't just referencing the School Idol Festival series. They have a bunch of other obscure mobile games, like Puchiguru and Tokimeki Run Runs, my favorite game. The Leela puzzle game, oh my goodness! These games aren't at the popularity of Sif, but they're still a core part of Love Live. That's what I would say if I was stupid. Yohane the Parhelion, Blaze in the Deep Blue, is a 2023 Metroidvania based on a Yohane spin-off from Love Live Sunshine. This game is very unique, as it's an actual game, like not a live service gacha, mobile game or anything like that, no, it's an actual Metroidvania. This game actually has some popularity outside the Love Live fanbase, being used for speedrunning, so if you're into speedrunning or Metroidvanias, chances are you know what this game is. But as for the game itself, I haven't played it yet. This is more of a meme nowadays rather than a fun fact, but yes, Maki Nishizono from Muse unironically believes in Santa. This was shown in Season 2, Episode 2 when they're all on a trip, and it is admittedly a very funny scene. Love Live Fest was a live concert performance done to celebrate the 9th anniversary of Love Live. The number 9 is a very important number in the Love Live franchise, so it does make sense to celebrate this anniversary. This concert was very important, as it brought back Muse and had every single, at the time, Love Live member be on stage at the same time, except A-Rise, but apparently they were in the audience, which is nice. It was an amazing performance, and fun fact, I actually went to a delayed viewing of it in theaters. As Love Live is a multimedia series, that means they partake in a variety of content, with manga being one of them. Now there's a crap ton of manga. We have short stories, anthologies, and little 4-comas. The canonicity of these are a bit out there. You can consider them canon if you want, but there are definitely certain manga series that are not canon, or at least take place in their own continuity. For example, there was a Love Live manga series that came up before the first anime released, in which they detail how Muse came together. There are some major differences between the manga and the anime, and the events in the anime are treated more as canon, so this manga is more for novelty's sake, just seeing characters you love interact more. As Love Live is a multimedia— oh wait, I already said that. Love Live has had a bunch of light novels and novels themselves released starting from Muse and even the House of Sora. These stories delve more into characters that perhaps weren't able to be put in the spotlight beforehand. We also have stuff like Flame Sword Princess to really show the random shit Love Live does sometimes. Not all are translated, but shouts to those that fan translate them. Okay, this one is simple. Idolmaster is an idol series. Love Live is an idol series. You know what that means? It's time to compare and contrast and see which one is better. This mainly applies to fans, but holy shit, I've seen so many Love Live and Idolmaster fans go bar for bar in terms of fighting this show which series is better. Who has the better characters, the better plot, the better animation? I didn't interact with much of it because I was a baby Love Live fan, the fuck I gotta say, but it was something I saw being talked about very often. I bring this up because there really isn't official beef between Idolmaster and Love Live. They collabed once before, and in 2023, we got another crossover which acted as a way of uniting fans, which was really sweet. I still see some mini wars happen because of comparisons and the like, and it kinda sucks because fuck bro, what kind of ammunition do we have now? Our games are does fuck. r/Tonokizaka refers to the subreddit of the same name, where Love Live memes are primarily posted there. It's one of the longest subreddits in terms of Love Live, so I thought it would get mentioned here. I used to scroll this subreddit back when I was an early Love Live fan, but nowadays I don't. I won't be mean, but I guess my humor's changed, but I won't deny its slight charm in its history. Setsuna Yuki, a school idol from Nijigasaki, is actually the student council president Nana Nakagawa. Crazy, I know. This secret identity is pretty silly at first glance, as what did she need to be secret about being a school idol for? Even Setsuna pointed out about how it feels cool having a secret identity like her favorite superheroes. But we do figure out a deeper meaning behind the reason why she hides this fact, and how she gains the confidence to reveal who she truly is. But also yes, superhero secret identity, Setsuna Yuki, go! 434 copies refers to the amount of copies sold for Love Live's first single, Boku no Live Kibito Live. I mentioned it in the Snowlation section, but these poor sales at the start made everyone think Love Live was fucked. Fun fact, 10 of these copies were purchased by Emi Nita, the seiyuu for Honoka, as a way to support the series herself. A lot of people actually thought it was her father that bought it until she posted a correction tweet about it this year actually. Bluebird refers to Love Live Bluebird, the as of right now, next major project by the Love Live franchise. It's a currently real-time series taking place on Twitter and YouTube, and follows a group of school idols in an online school setting. Since the project is ongoing, there is not much info I want to say in fear of getting contradicted immediately, but I will say the reason it's in this position is because many people barely know about it, which I can't blame them for, but anyway. The Love Live competition is a competition, placing school idols against each other to see who's the best. Using a variety of methods to vote, including online streaming, it serves as the main goal for a ton of Love Live groups. The rules for how it works and who can participate sometimes changes, but no matter what, it's a competition to see who's the best. The origins for how Love Live was created aren't fully explained unless you look at other continuities such as the manga, so for the sake of a quick explanation, it exists for the characters that have a goal, except for Nijigasaki, which barely has a focus on the Love Live competition at all, with only a brief mention here and there. Alpaca birth refers to the alpaca from Tonokizaka, in which he gives birth during intermission of Muse's final live. It's a very bizarre scene. Parfait Face refers to a scene in School Idol Project Season 2, Episode 7, where Ellie asks Nozomi if she wants to go get Parfait, with Nozomi making a flirtatious ass face. With how prevalent Nozo Ellie is in the entire franchise, which is the shipping between Nozomi and Ellie, many have interpreted this as a romantic sort of gesture. And I won't even lie, yeah, why the fuck would you ever make that face regarding Parfait? I'm allergic to dairy, so maybe I don't get it, but bro, I would not make that face for Parfait. Idol Story is a fan website for the Love Live franchise, serving as an archive of many of Love Live's assets including sprites and backgrounds. They have translations on their websites, forums, their website is amazing. As someone who tends to use a ton of Love Live assets along with scouring for Love Live info, this website is a godsend. I actually know the person who started the website alongside many of the members who contribute to it, and I can say right now, y'all cool, keep doing what you're doing. Setsuna Yuki was originally played by Tamari Kusunoki, but due to physical health problems, which was confirmed to be hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, she had to step down from her role. Setsuna's physical and mental choreography is a lot due to her nature as this Genki energetic school idol, and it got to a point that it needed to be toned down for the live performances. The announcement regarding her retirement took place on November 1st, 2022, and she officially left on March 31st, 2023. In her place was Koko Hayashi, and for the record, y'all better not do some fucking comparison shit. It's still something you'll see occasionally in comment threads and the like, but I think of Cherry Bomb and the OVA, it's clear she fits Setsuna just as much as Tobori. Peichan Leila video refers to a viral clip created by Idol Asta which uses footage from Leila's second live. In it, Peichan, the seiyuu for Samir, checks the age demographic for the audience, in which most of it consists of middle-aged men. This clip has gone viral multiple times across short-form apps such as Instagram and TikTok, and it especially made the rounds during when Ice Cream came out, which gave Love Live a new burst of popularity. Mia Taylor is a character from Nijigasaki, and a big part of her personality is that she's from New York and often speaks full English phrases. This includes cursing, and yes, she says shit.
Shit!
Funnily enough, this gets translated as damn it in the global version of All Stars, which, bro, we heard her, she did not say that shit. Hashtag make Mia Taylor say shit. Love Live has utilized voting for a crap ton of their work. Voting on a group name, a subunit name, what a character's icon will be, who gets to collaborate with Love Live, you decide. This was prevalent even from the start with Muse, and serves as a strong connecting bond between the fans and the series itself. In certain concerts, they even get to vote on what song to perform, which is actually insane. Continuing off from voting, Love Live has had many popularity polls just to determine which characters are favored over others. Back then, it had major importance, as some of these would determine who gets the center of a song, which obviously started controversy over who deserved the spot. Over time though, these popularity polls would shift to a more who fits this role more, in order to make sure everyone is happy. KFC Karin refers to an edited image posted by the official KFC Spain account in which a screen cap of Karin is used wearing a KFC employee hat. This got a lot of traction to the point Karin's seiyuu would even comment on it, further spreading the meme. It is very humorous, and I still sometimes wonder how this all transpired. The PS Vita received free exclusive Love Live Japanese only games in 2014. These games are interesting as they served as promotional material content in a way, while also being a rhythm game. These free games are pretty much the same, they just have different exclusive songs similar to Pokemon. The free versions are Lily White, BB, and Pretense, matching each of the subunits. These games were the first to have 3D models surprisingly. Yes, not All-Stars, but if you remember my wording from the All-Stars section, I said it was the first to have 3D models in a mobile game. It's a very interesting part of Love Live history, and you can see elements of how they would use techniques from this game in All-Stars. Use is the poorly pronounced way of saying Muse and is said by Chica in Love Live Sunshine. It is also said by a lot of Love Live fans who forget there's an M in Muse. You don't gotta type the actual symbol, but at least learn how to say it, man. YYY is an Aqua subunit consisting of Yo, Yoshiko Yohane, and Ruby. It was formed in honor of the Urano Hoshi Girls High School Radio, as the three members' voice actors serve as hosts for the radio show. Look away from the screen, please. Like many other aspects of Love Live, the members were actually voted upon, so the results we have are thanks to those fans. Their songs are fucking insane. That's right, Love Live collabed with Hatsune Miku, creating a whole single and music video. Not much to say besides having a collab with Miku is the best thing ever, and it's a long time coming. They also got Nessos, so Hatsune Miku Nesaberry White Eyes is real. The Niji anime refers to the anime adaptation for Love Live Nijigasaki. The anime is a very unique case of adaptation, as we already have a sort of canon storyline for the characters. We had All-Stars, which had bond stories and an already established and detailed plot for its characters. Translating all of that to a 12-episode anime season would be near impossible, so there were some major differences between All-Stars and the anime. Some of these changes were minor, while some were huge, which has caused a bit of a split in how certain characters and events are viewed. We'll be diving into it with later entries, but for right now, all you need to know is that the Nijigasaki anime has some stark differences to its original lore, even more so compared to other groups which had short stories before their anime premiered. In Love Live Sunshine Season 1 Episode 12, Aqua visits Otonokizaka, the school Muse attended, and hopes to do some cool self-reflection on themselves as a group. At the end of it, they come across a baby version of Honoka that raises so many questions. Obviously, it's symbolic, isn't actually Honoka, but just looks like her, and she does what she does to help Chika make a realization regarding her and Muse. But thinking about it at face value, how the fuck is Honoka a baby here? Did she reincarnate? Who knows? Love Live Nijigasaki High School Idol Club Tokimeki Roadmap to Future is a visual novel released in early 2025 and serves as a sequel and ending to the All-Star story. In it, Anata-chan, the main protagonist, loses their memories and it's up to you, the player, to remember all the members and get the best ending. There's around over 10 endings featuring one for each character, along with certain ones that have specific requirements to obtain. The game is literally a visual novel, there's not much to say, but if you enjoy All-Star's characterization of the characters, you'll love this game no doubt. Unfortunately, it's $40, and for a game that reuses a shit ton of assets from the mobile games, I'd say go in with caution or wait for a price drop. This game is also very limiting to fans, because you need to be familiar with the lore of All-Stars and the version of these characters. And for the record, the game does not catch you up to speed. They'll mention certain events, but there is no recap. Go on YouTube or something and watch the chapters. What a game, man. Love Arrow Shoot is the calm response that Umi uses in her live performances. She shoots a love arrow at us, and we all fall in love with her because she's Umi. This calm response gets a funny reference in Umi's hallucination, and she gets embarrassed because, yeah, you're not even an idol yet, why are you imagining this shit? There's a little more fun history on the Love Arrow Shoot in terms of how the calm response evolved that Blue Eighth Note has made a video on. Go check them out, they make really detailed Love Life lore videos. Okay, this one's a bit debatable, so I'll let you guys in the comments decide, but queerbaiting via Google is when characters are given moments or interactions that give the implication they're LGBTQ, but don't outright say it so they can maintain ambiguity. With that definition in mind, a ton of Love Live moments qualify as this. Sometimes it's so fucking obvious, but due to the nature of not directly saying it, you can't really confirm it. The Parfait face is a really good example of this, you and Ayamu, Yo and Chica, and this scene from Love Live Superstar got a lot of people crazed because they only showed a clip of this scene, which left fans going crazy. Me personally, they're all gay as fuck. Taro Nesoberries are a special kind of Nesoberry in that they're huge. They usually aren't made in huge quantities, and I'm pretty sure some of them are made for order. There were Taros created for Miyus, Aqua, but stopped after Nijigasaki. Now you could probably piece together some reasons, but yes, Layla hasn't gotten Taros along with Hosta Sora. It's very tragic, as I think those can have very interesting Taro designs. I myself have 2 Taro Nesoberries, both from Nijigasaki. Sanrio is a Japanese entertainment company who you might know as the creators of Hello Kitty, Cinnamon, all those cute little adorable guys. Love Life has collabed with them multiple times. Not too much to say besides that. The designs the characters have gotten are really cute though. Puchiguru refers to an old, now shut down Love Life mobile game focusing on the Nesoberries. This game was like a sort of Candy Crush type of game, combining Nesos to kill the other Nesos or something, I don't know. It was charming, and then it died in 2019. Rest in peace. Love Life has had a bunch of merchandise that fans have used to express their love for the series. It can be shrines, little keychains put under their keys, or full bags detailing merch of a certain character. Since going to conventions, I've seen how dedicated some fans are towards certain characters, so respect to anyone who buys Love Life merch and plasters it all over the things they love. Itasha is often a term used for when you decorate your car for a certain theme, more specifically anime and video games. Within the topic of Love Life, it's when you decorate your car towards a Love Life character. You've most likely seen these before, with cars dedicated to Yohane, Chika, and even Yo. This one is actually by my friend Logan. He got me into Uma Musume, and this car is genuinely so fucking cool. This is deviating off the topic of Itasha, but wow, look at Yo Watanabe! Nijigasaki is getting a trilogy of movies. The first one released last year, with the second one coming this November. The third is most likely to release next year, and this is a very unique case as no other group has gotten 3 movies before. In fact, no group has gotten 2 movies, so I guess this makes Nijigasaki the GOAT. Riko-chan Laser Beam is the calm response Riko Sakurauchi uses during the live concerts. The pose she does is a direct reference to Ultraman, who Tipo helped me remember, thank you man. It's gotten some references in the anime and the movie, along with having a whole section of a song dedicated to it. It's one of the more famous bits of Riko and never gets old, and it's fun to follow along with. Haha Rin Boy refers to a meme where Rin gets called a boy because of how she visually looks. It's an insecurity that is given a lot of prominence in the anime, and how she eventually overcomes it. The meme comes from targeting Rin's insecurities, similar to how some childhood bullies treated her when she was young. Obviously, it's just a joke, but as you know with every joke, it gets overused to the point where it isn't that funny anymore. But that's just me, although I will admit it was slightly funny like 6 to 7 years ago. 6, 7? Ryodan Victory Road is the B-side of the Nijigasaki Season 2 outro single. The song by itself is insane, as it serves as a hype song introducing each of the Nijigasaki members. Now that in itself isn't why it's on the list. It's the many live performances that have taken the song and went to the extreme, plastering smoke everywhere and making everyone go insane. With later performances, Love Life members that weren't from Nijigasaki joined in, creating their own lyrics for the songs to fit them. Before Ice Cream came out, this was the song that had unique lyrics added to fit the characters. Dengeki G was a monthly Japanese magazine created by ASCII MediaWorks, and guess what? They were one of the other companies responsible for the creation of Love Life. As a result, Love Life predominantly appeared in these magazines. They would showcase new art, new info, new single covers. If there was any Love Life info, it was on here. My History of Love Life book is quite literally a compilation of these Dengeki G issues because they were that important to Love Life's history. Love Life would become so core to Dengeki G that they would often take the cover page. It's really cool. However, Dengeki G would discontinue, with their last issue being in December 2022. But Love Life was still alive, so where did they broadcast their new information? Love Life Days was a new monthly magazine focusing exclusively on Love Life. Yep, that's all. Just more Love Life. Thank You Gaze refers to an Instagram story post by Ai Furihata, the seiyuu for Ruby Kotosawa, in which she thanks fans of their Los Angeles performance by saying, "Thank you gays" instead of "Thank you guys." Obviously a typo, but when this dropped, it was the funniest fucking thing ever. End of service, or EOS, refers to when a game or something ends its service. As you most likely learned by watching the video so far, literally everything that was live service and was global has been EOS'd. So fuck. The Aqua's LA Rainbow refers to the light stick rainbow created by overseas fans for Aqua's performance in Los Angeles during Anime Expo in 2018. During Yuki wa Doko ni, fans would collectively work together to match their light stick colors to create a rainbow. The story behind this is really incredible in how it was done, and if I were to compare it to something, it'd be Snow Elation of the UOs. There are very few recordings of this due to the rules regarding recording performances, but the ones we do have show just how powerful it was to the audience and the seiyus. It's also really cool that overseas fans got to do some cool major stuff. Similar to YYY, Gudinpa refers to a subunit, somewhat, consisting of Chika, Daya, and Yoshiko from Aqua. Like YYY again, and also Ice Cream, they were formed because of a radio program the seiyus were in. The only song where they get to be Gudinpa is Party Party Pop 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 Party, where it's a Christmas song as they get ready to create a party. Very cool. Balls, 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 I love balls, balls, ball, I love balls, I love balls, I love balls. Gusoku Moshi refers to a role Sumire as a child used to play. It's an embarrassing moment for her, and something that certain members of Liela won't ever let down. Wow guys, another layer down, I'm only losing a little bit of my sanity. Luckily, if retaining your sanity and your mental strength is what you need, then I'm glad to say this video is sponsored by absolutely no one. Sasuke is Ayumu's pet snake in the Nijigasaki series. They originally made an appearance in the Famitsu 4 Komas, where she was a comedically large snake that ate Ai, but had a nice heart. Unfortunately, when it came to the anime, having a comedically large snake isn't possible, so she was reduced to a plushie, which is tragic. They were popular enough to get their own plush, so bring back Sasuke. During Aqua's final live, which took place in the Balluna Dome in Saitama, the temperature was absurdly hot. Seeing the live tweets detailing the temperature made it seem like people were dying, which is possible, not trying to joke about it, and you can even tell the seiyus themselves were experiencing the heat. I don't know if that temperature is commonplace in Saitama, but it definitely was noticeable enough for a lot of people to comment on it. Shioriko Mifune is a member of Nijigasaki that first appears in Love Live All-Stars. She is the first character to be introduced and later join a group, breaking the Love Live formula. The member count pattern was changed as all groups were usually 9 members, and it introduced the concept of new characters joining the group when usually the members were established at the start, and that was it. Shioriko is single-handedly responsible for breaking a ton of Love Live traditions that many other groups and characters would follow, and also she's cute and awesome and I have her plushie. Akihata is one of the main lyricists for the Love Live series. In fact, she's written every single Love Live and Love Live Sunshine song with the exception of one, but that doesn't count. Her track record is insane, and she should be commended for writing some of Love Live's best lyrics. If you're thinking of Snow Elation or any old Love Live song, she's responsible for the lyrics. Cursed Mario refers to this horrifying creepy plush of Mario Hata from Aqua. Many fans have made memes with this image because of its uncanny nature. It's a joke? End Girls are the filler girls of School of the Festival. Okay, that was weird as fuck, let me rephrase that. End Girls were a subsection of the School of the Festival cast that had their own lore and history, but never got the amount of attention compared to the main girls. I do love the End Girls though. They get neglected a lot in the series, and their only anime appearances are cameos or small parts in the Nijigasaki series. They had their own 4 Chroma panels I talked about in this video here, so if you're interested, go check them out. It's the only time you'll likely see official Love Live characters with these designs. Nijion Animation is a 3D animated series detailing the fun adventures of Nijigasaki using a 4-Koba structure and adapting the art of Nijiya the comic series into 3D. It's a very fun slice of life series of 2 seasons that are essentially bite-sized moments. Nothing too special, but if you enjoy the cast of Nijigasaki, you'll love the series. Remember that talk about how Love Live was created and how a bunch of people were involved? Well, Sakurako Kimino was one of those people involved, and her involvement was to the point that she's considered the creator of Love Live. She's had a hand in the series since the very beginning, writing a ton of short stories that the series would sometimes perform. She had a major hand during Muse and Aqua, but took a step back starting from Nijigasaki. When Love Live Bluebird was announced though, she came back as a lyricist for the songs along with writing the characters' tweets. She can be considered Love Live's mother in a sense. Back when Nijigasaki first started, they were split into groups of 3, with each group getting their own comic series. I go more into it with my Niji 4 Koma video, but each of these comics would have their own art style and storyline where it's just slice of life fun. It was very early on in Niji's life, so many characters and details weren't fleshed out yet. This includes Ayumu in the Famitsu 4 Koma is infamous for her personality being almost a complete contrast to how she acts in other pieces of media. She's aggressive, assaults people, and is genuinely someone who wants to shit on someone at every point. She's very expressive, and it's given her a bit of a rep for being this insane and having no other Love Live character come close to what she's done. Hashtag bring back evil Moo. You with a Mustache was a popular Twitter and Instagram fan account for the Love Live franchise. I remember them posting a ton of Love Live content to the point they made a name for themselves in the Love Live community for the clips. Unfortunately, their account is suspended and I can no longer find their Instagram, so just take my word, man. Hey guys, is the phrase Moika Koizumi, the seiyuu of Shuriko, says at the end of the Live of a Smile concert. The timing and the way she said the phrase is really funny because right before she came on, Shuichida, the seiyuu of Bea Taylor, spoke fluent English to overseas viewers if they were watching online, so maybe Moepi felt she needed to continue the trend. Either way, it was super funny, it became a meme. Love Life, like many other companies, partake in a tomfoolery that is April Fools. Some of the most famous April Fools have been creating a puppet show, making a news broadcast with seiyus, and an aquarium parody PV with otters. Yeah, what the fuck is going on? Hostel Story is a real-time series in the Love Life franchise. It's a very unique group, taking place in real time, as I said 2 seconds ago, and having all their activity be set in an app which also has real-time elements. They utilize a form of motion capture to create virtual performances and live streams that create the immersion that these people are actual students in school and are streaming. Every aspect of Hostel Story is dedicated to this bit, so if a member of Hostel Story, say, for example, graduate from the school, they're no longer around the app. Very immersive. There's too much to say about Hostel Story, so I'll just say that it has some of the best characters and the best story, and we'll just leave it at that. Remember those end girls I mentioned earlier? Well, Emma, Kanata, and Shizuku originally started as end girls. The history of Nijigasaki starts with some random polls made for the Japanese version of School Idol Festival, in which you can vote on the end girls. It seemed to be just a normal everyday vote, until it was revealed that the top 3 winners would be turned into full-fledged Love Life characters for a Perfect Dream project. This makes Emma, Kanata, and Shizuku some of the oldest Love Life characters, predating even Aqua and only being surpassed by Muse. They are Unk, and also rest in peace the other end girls. Hitori dake nante erabanai yo is the phrase said by Hinaki Yano, the seiyuu for Yutakasaki. This phrase is commonly said when she's put in a situation where she can't choose which Nijigasaki girl to choose, either it be who she loves the most or who has the best song. It's basically Yutakasaki loving everyone to the point she just can't choose. Oh yeah, the phrase literally means I can't choose just one. Link Like Love Life is the app used for everything Hosna Sora. All streams, story chapters, cards, character info can be found there. There's a lot of immersion within this app, as it exists in the lore of the series. Streams and videos are treated as actual videos published by the Hosna Sora cast, and it's also where you can view the live performances when they happen. Depending on certain requirements, you can view different camera angles while the performance is happening live, adding yet another level of immersion. It also has 2 game modes, one with these chibis dancing around, and a more typical rhythm-based mode. There's videos going over the game if you're interested, it's just really cool. It's not a perfect app, and some of my friends complain about it, but it's a very unique part of Love Life. That shit is never getting localized over here. The Maki OVA refers to the School Idol Project OVA that focuses on Maki. It's a really weird episode, both in how it was released and also how it's been treated, because it's kind of a fever dream. They encounter a younger Maki and it's full of dreams and shit. I saw someone say that the OVA bears a striking similarity to the plot of Persona 1, and as someone who has played through Persona 1, at least the main route, yeah, that sounds about right. This is the only episode that hasn't gotten an English dub, probably because of how it got released. Kizuna Ai is a very famous VTuber and is credited with the term virtual YouTuber, although those types of YouTubers existed beforehand. She's very influential for the history of VTubing, but that's not the topic for right now. The topic for today's entry is the fact she's a Love Life fan, and a big one at that. She's made multiple videos on School Idol Festival, and even scoured iconic Love Life locations on Google Maps. It's very sweet watching her enjoy playing Love Life, and I wonder if she's still a Love Life fan today. Love Life got a musical adaptation! Following 2 School Idol groups, this musical would have a very unique take on the Love Life series. I sadly have not watched this as Japan only, and even though it's still in production as of 2025, I can't really judge or comment on it besides the cool stage design and the outfits. Luckily, for those that want to know the story, there was a live-action adaptation of said musical, in which they retell the story in a 6-episode season. It's a very unique piece in Love Life history, and take a shot every time I say unique. I mean it this time though, it is really cool and captures the spirit of Love Life really well. School Idol Tomodachi was both an archival, card tracker, and a community website for Love Life fans. If you're a Love Life unk, you probably recognize this website as it was influential to catching up and talking with other fans. This website has so much old info and history, and most of the people who comment on it miss Sif, and given the context that this was around for almost a decade, it's not surprising people missed that time. Kinda sad, I'm getting a bit nostalgic in a sort of FOMO way because I was like 10 when this stuff was happening anyway. Anata-chan is the main protagonist of the Love Life All-Star story. To make it clear, Anata-chan is not Yutakasaki. Yutakasaki is more so an adaptation of Anata-chan that eventually turned to her very own character. In my opinion, I think Yutakasaki is better than Anata-chan, but you didn't hear that from me. If I were to speak any further, I get very opinionated since I'm not the biggest fan of them, but all you need to know is that she's an All-Stars and a Nijigasaki Roadmap to the Future visual novel. When the first trailer for the Nijigasaki movie was announced, many people noticed the different art style that was being used. The Niji anime had already chosen a different art style for their series compared to the other Love Live groups, so changing the art style again was bizarre. This style didn't entirely come out of nowhere, as traces of it appeared in Niji on animation. The visual director for the movie also worked on Bocchi the Rock, explaining the similarities as to why characters look the way they do. This caused a bit of a discussion regarding the art style and how some people hated it. I don't know if it was the reception of that, but the second movie, which is coming this November, had their art style changed back to the regular Nijigasaki art style. But it too is slightly altered. It's weird. The Love Live trading card game, or Love Kai, is the official trading card game of Love Live. It has really cool cards. Okay, I'm just joking. I don't have much to say about Love Kai as it's primarily Japan only, unless you import everything, so I can't say much about the product itself. The game apparently only takes 10 minutes to learn, so maybe one day I'll get into it. From what I've been told, it's been doing well financially, which when talking about the Love Live series is a good thing, even if it isn't something I'm totally into. This entry refers to Love Live Superstar Season 3, and the only reason this is in here is because of the fact it's the third season of a group. No other group has gotten 3 seasons before. They've gotten at least 2 seasons in the movie. Layla, however, has 3 seasons, and as of the time of recording, no movie, so it's a very bizarre way to break tradition. The School Idol God is a character that appears in the Famitsu 4 Komas. She doesn't really have any powers, but she is a friend of Ayamu and has her back always. Love Live Superstar Memory Collect is a 480 yen purchasable mobile game in which you can play puzzle games with iconic Love Live screenshots. This is just humorous. It released in 2025, long after every single Love Live game has been shut down. Don't worry guys, Love Live is saved with this fuck-ass paid game where you can do puzzles. Super cool, Love Live. Hanpan is Rina's cat. She appears in CFS and the anime as well. Yeah, meow. Okay, this one is really funny. In case you don't know, it's a running meme that whenever Persona collabs with a live service game, it typically results in that game being shut down shortly after. It happened with Dragolia, happened with that Sword Art Online game, and yes, this does include Sif, which collabed with Persona in 2021. The meme of Persona 5 killing live service games isn't really true since it didn't kill every game it touched, and even then, Sif continued living for 2 more years before it was shut down. Still a funny thing to say though. We've mentioned Love Live collaborating with certain groups, but there is an insane rabbit hole for the random companies and brands Love Live has collaborated with. A lot of Japanese locations and stores often collab with Love Live, creating a bunch of cool outfits for the characters to wear. There have also been game collabs, such as with Shadowverse, placing our characters in the different art styles. There's a lot more I'm not talking about, but I'm currently sick riding this, so just know there's a lot. Flying Van refers to the scene in Love Live Sunshine Season 2 Episode 10, where Mari's van starts flying. Instead of thinking about what it means symbolically, I'm just gonna take it at face value. What the fuck is happening? Love Live's character's hair is very diverse, both in hairstyles and color. Yes, color. People debate what hair color characters have. Is this gray? Is this white? Is this blonde? Is this blue? If Mimo is watching this, you're responsible for like 90% of this. For those unaware, Love Live Superstar was premiered on NHKE, essentially a television program designed to be more educational if Wikipedia has anything to go off of. The most important part is that it aired exclusively on there, and there have been some effects because of it premiering there. Firstly, official subs did not arrive at a weekly basis for some bizarre reason. We had to rely on fan subbing groups like Team Onibe to help out. Secondly, they are very strict on clips being uploaded. Even the official clips on YouTube are region locked if you're outside Japan. As someone who works with Love Live videos, I can say right now that having any Layla footage on screen takes my video down almost immediately. So, fuck NHKE. Well, you're educating kids, so I can't be too mad at you, but fuck you. Going back to collabs, you may be familiar with Love Live collaborating with Sega, with Love Live having a poster girl being a Sega employee outfit with Sonic. This collab would be done on Muse with Rin, Aqua with Hanamaru, and Nijigasaki with Rina. After that point though, there would be no more song collabs. Now I made a whole video going into why this happened, but the official likely reason is that Sega kind of retired all their Crane Arcade store things, and it was replaced by gamers, which you've probably seen Love Live collab with. Now, I used to think there was a deeper reason to all of it, but nah, if there's no more Sega stores, then what's the point of a collab? Still incredibly cute art, and I'd love to see other groups get to hang out with Sonic. House Soa is the first group, I'm pretty sure, to officially cover other Love Live songs. Back then, Love Live songs were only sang by their respective group, and while we had songs that would be made for multiple groups to sing, you wouldn't see Nijigasaki, for example, cover Snow Elation. With House Soa, that tradition began to change. They covered Muse songs, Aqua songs, and even other random songs that weren't a part of Love Live. I love a lot of the voices in House Soa, so getting them to sing some of my favorite songs is super cool. Water and Kiss Mint refers to a collaboration commercial between Love Live and Water and Kiss Mint. This was made when the School Idol movie was premiering and features Maki as she eats the mint. It's only 15 seconds, but this commercial is fully animated, so a lot of effort was put into this. If anyone has tasted this, tell me in the comments. Leela no Uta was a weekly song segment that was inserted at the end of every Superstar episode. It would usually include a cute animation of the song featuring the Leela cast. This is very unique, as no other Love Live group has had this, and it was only included in the TV broadcast of the anime. Since NHKE was an educational program, I guess maybe it would help kids more, and I mean, I watched Sesame Street, so it gives off the same vibe. Glee Forever was a 2015 rhythm-based game based on the Glee franchise. Take one look, and you'll instantly know why it's on this list. Yes, it directly rips off School of the Festival's 9-circle gameplay. And if you're wondering, yes, K-Lab, the developer for Sif, also made this, so it isn't much of a rip-off, but just more so K-Lab being lazy as fuck. Also, if you're curious, the game got terminated in 2016, which means Love Live's better than Glee. Who the fuck said that? Guided Fate Paradox was a 2013 roguelike game developed and published by Nippon Ichi Software. Now at first glance, you may wonder what this has to do with Love Life, but guess who's a part of the game? Muse. Yeah, the cast of Muse not only voices some of the characters, but also has full songs that are a part of the soundtrack. This soundtrack is on streaming services if you're interested, and take a listen, some of the songs are really good. This is a really weird collab, as it happened the year the anime premiered, which is when Love Life really began to explode, so it's kind of a weird marker point for the franchise. And also, some of the composers for Guided Fate Paradox actually came back for later Love Life songs via this Reddit comment, which is super fucking cool. Starting from Muse, Love Life has received dubs to increase the accessibility of the series. Now regardless if you hate dubs or love dubs, the fact they exist is pretty cool. There are some unique lines in the dub that become memes, and I think some of them are included in later entries I forgot being real. An interesting aspect about these dubs is that while all the talking scenes are dubbed, when it comes to the singing, the Japanese is kept intact, which makes partial sense. There's a bit more I want to talk about regarding the dubs, but that can come later. There are some other dubs that aren't English, such as its official Brazilian dub for the Sunshine movie, which is really interesting. Punishment polls were a type of poll that was conducted for Nijigasaki, in which the person who got voted last would be put in an embarrassing outfit as a punishment. Now, Love Life has never strayed away from having borderline sexual art done for their characters. That goes for back then and even now. This one is a bit more bizarre though, as because of the circumstances, it actually affected voting and how characters were perceived. Because of the punishment going towards the least voted person, people would purposely vote other characters to be high, so the characters they wanted to be in the punishment poll could win, or lose in a sense. Sound complicated? Yeah, imagine using that for statistics or something. These punishment polls didn't last that long though. Start Dash Slippery Floor video is an iconic Love Life fan video in which a group of Love Life fans cosplaying the second years of Muse attempt to perform Start Dash, but the floor is full of like lube or something. This video is old and hilarious. Stiff censorship refers to the censorship of Nozomi making a reference to girls loving each other in the global version. If we want to be more general, there are multiple cases of homosexual references being removed, and fuck, if you want to include, I guess Mia Taylor got censored too for having her shit be translated as damn it. Very bizarre that they censor it in the global version, as I expect the opposite. It did get rectified though when enough people sent complaints to K-Lab, so gay people live on. Love Life has collaborated with many games. I've talked about them. Yeah, go back if you want to hear about it. Okay, I'm gonna combine these two, but r/place was a subreddit/event where Reddit users could create their own drawings on a big pixel drawing board. Hundreds of thousands of users could work together to create their own pixel art masterpieces, with a bunch of communities coming together to create something amazing. The Love Life community was one of them, creating Ruby Kurosawa from Aqua. I actually was a part of this. I helped place like WebPixel. Now, as for W-Place, it's essentially the same concept, but instead of a blank drawing board, it's the entire Earth. People were able to create anything in any location in real life, so if you, for example, looked at Numazu, you'd see a shit ton of Love Life art. I spent a stream looking at the art made on W-Place, and it's amazing what the Love Life community can do together. Really amazing work, guys. Yeah. Leela Tuta was a TV program featuring the seiyus of Leela. In it, they would do game shows and other stuff that I cannot really talk about because it's region locked and I only have one episode thanks to Midai Plasma. From what I've seen though, it's entertaining as fuck, and if you do like the seiyus, you'll love this. Leela gets a lot of seiyu stuff. I wonder if that could be talked about in its own section one day. Weird merch refers to Love Life merchandise that's a bit weird, a bit uncanny. This could apply to a multitude of things, and I even had a whole stream dedicated to it. Some of them are quite bizarre. Streaming services such as Spotify were something Love Life did not utilize until around 2019 and into the COVID era. Love Life music was primarily physical only, and many Love Life fans can attest to likely downloading MP3s of the song or listening to them on YouTube. It's kind of weird to think of a time where Love Life music wasn't easy to listen to as it is now, but there definitely were reasons for it, such as CD lottery codes and like, plus Buddy. What the What was a popular anime video essay YouTuber that was primarily known for his videos on Love Life. He would go into extensive detail into this series and served as a partial inspiration to my own video essays. If you want in-depth Love Life videos, chances were you watched his. Kuripan/Moipan refers to a certain genre of Love Life merchandise, which are plushies that are very cute or horrifying. I have both a Shioriko Kuripan and a Cosme Moipan. I can say right now, they are bizarre. Still adorable though. A lot of Love Live's casting were based on auditions. I mean, no shit, but some of these were public and some were private. Leela was well known to have public auditions, as the seiyus had talked about during a show. Sayori Date, the seiyuu for Kanon, was one of these people casted via the public audition, and there's a really detailed interview about this. And fun fact, the seiyuu for Kaho, Nozomi Nide, failed the Love Live Superstar audition before auditioning again to later get the Hosta Sora role. There's also a detailed story about this, as Hosta Sora was essentially her last shot at this, and it's really amazing. Peking duck and Gonzalez refers to certain things from the Hosta Sora series. Peking duck is the duck or chicken that Suzui has an attachment to, me too buddy, and Gonzalez is the little dinosaur that Kachibachi likes. She even dresses up as them, I'm pretty sure. Also, someone in the stream mentioned vegetable clothes, so I'll put that here too, as Saiko wears clothes that are vegetable for some reason. Hosta Sora is weird, man. So this Italian politician, Giorgia Meloni, mistakenly thought that Mario Hara was fan art of her, and she publicly posted it. This wouldn't be as funny until you realize that she's actively against gay marriage, which when put in context with the character of fucking Mario Hara, it makes it very ironic. Also, she has like a bunch of power. She was deemed the third strongest woman in the entire world by Forbes in 2024, and did a lot of shit, so yeah. The laughing producer is the man behind the camera in a bunch of Love Live streams in which he laughs his ass off at literally every funny moment. It was very prominent in old Love Live streams, but I do remember some recent ones having the same laugh. Either way, he embodies a lot of us who laugh at the ridiculous shit that goes on in these streams. In Love Live School Adult Project Season 2, Episode 6, the band Kiss gets referenced in the episode via the cast of Muse dressing up as them. By itself, it's a funny reference, but what makes it on this list is that Gene Simmons from Kiss actually took notice of it and immediately wanted to know what this series was. It's a very funny moment in Love Live history and showed the spread of Love Live. Holy fuck, we just finished another layer. I'm still sick of writing this, but as you can tell, we're starting to get more into obscure Love Live lore, which is what an Iceberg is supposed to do. Again, the placements don't really make sense, but it's okay, I'll give out the explanation when I need to. Why do I have to be sick of this crucial moment? The Rikako chair incident refers to Aqua 6 Live, where during the performance of Love Spiral Tower, Rikako Ida, the seiyuu for Riko, used the chair in a flirty manner and many fans went crazy over this. It's insane for the character of Riko, but a memorable moment no doubt. Liue, the seiyuu for Cuckoo, was actually a Love Live fan before she got a role in Liela. Her cosplays of Love Live characters are very well known, and she still cosplays to this day. Hime Poyo refers to an obscure character from the Genjutsu no Yohane series. There was a great video done on this character by Idol Astra, but she's a very obscure character in the manga that didn't even get to appear in an anime adaptation. Her appearances are very limited, and I bet like 90% of Love Live fans don't know who she is, including me. During the 2020 Olympics, which took place in Tokyo, there was a tweet made that included a cameo appearance of Setsuna Yuki. Love Live fans immediately took note of this, especially since it looks like the dude was directly staring at her. There's a Love Live reference wherever you look. For BB's promotion for their first single, it was edited very interestingly. What I mean to say is that it was edited like it was in Windows Live Movie Maker, and usually I wouldn't mention something like this, but bro, what is this? Alright, very big warning for predatory-like pedophile behavior. There's a lot of info I couldn't really confirm or deny, but I'll keep it brief for this video in respect to the people involved. Justice Things was a popular Love Live fan account that created numerous viral videos that you may know about. Shrines, rituals for polling, that Google Play card thing. If you were in the SIF, you most likely saw some of his videos. He had a huge presence in real life, setting up events at conventions, and being kind of a beacon for the SIF community overseas. He also managed School Idol Market on Instagram, which many of you old fans might know about. And he was also known for the Ruby Brass Knuckles. Yeah, that. Thanks to an individual who won't be named, I was able to see a bunch of videos that they had uploaded and recorded years prior, and there's a lot of history in these videos that I may use later on. However, in 2019, and I'm really trying not to be vague with this shit, Justice Things would lock their account due to being exposed for weird behavior towards minors. I talked to someone who personally knew Justice Things and was in a hotel room with him when they were 17 years old. I was told there was nothing inherently illegal, but it was enough to be borderline predatory, like he was 30 years old hanging off teenagers, and obviously there's nothing wrong with that in specific. Have you worked at fashion before? But it was weird having someone like him in a high position of power arrange events where he could easily talk to kids. It's been over 6 years, so the information was a bit hard to come across, but it was also known he would lie about his age to date barely legal 18-year-old cosplayers. Justice Things' final note would be a goodbye message dodging all the accusations and being all like, I love you guys in the community, and then dip, and it's been 6 years later and I haven't seen any trace of him since then. His videos were really iconic, and I remember seeing some of them in meme compilations, so it was a really weird feeling figuring this out only a couple months ago. It's been well known that due to Aqua and Love Live Sunshine taking place in Uchiura, which is inspired by Numazu, it's created a rise in activity for the location. There's a great video done by Red Joker that goes more in depth into how they saved Numazu. They saved their soccer team for crying out loud. Numazu has acknowledged and supported Aqua's presence ever since the attraction began coming their way, and you can see how strong the relationship is via their EQ Hours music video. There's collabs, tourist attractions based on locations in the anime. If you're a Love Live fan, you have no requirement to go to Numazu. At Aqua's first live day 2, Rikako made a mistake playing the piano during Omoi yo Hitotsu Ninade. It's a very iconic scene in Aqua's history, and it's a very emotional scene seeing Rikako be comforted by the group before being able to get it done the second try. It represents a lot about Aqua and their journey starting out, along with the dedication fans had towards them, changing their lives to support Rikako. Being frank, it's a really sad scene I don't like rewatching, but it's important to acknowledge it as you can feel it in future performances. Ruino's box refers to a decorated box that Ruino used whenever her social battery is depleted. It's usually played as a joke because it's a box walking around, but it is seriously used by Ruino whenever she's used too much energy. The box is very cute though. You can tell the Hostile Sword Gate took it very seriously by drawing cute designs on it. Thank you, Kaho, for your brilliant idea. Rikako Elephant refers to a horrifying drawing of an elephant that Rikako drew. It is iconic and gets referenced in numerous media because of that drawing. I do not know how you create something like this. School Idol Days is a horror fan doujin made by Killzip that takes the cast of Love Life and combines with the horror elements of School Days, which was iconic for having a twisted finale where characters began murdering each other. I just recently made a video about this doujin and it's very funny and also partially scary. If you enjoy horror or want to have a good time, I recommend you go read it. The art is amazing. Katoi Fried Chicken refers to KFC, but instead of Kentucky Fried Chicken, it's Katoi because she's a bird. There was some fan art based off this meme, and it actually was used in some off-brand advertising, so I guess it's canon in some ways. The Rin Ramen refers to a limited time collab between Rin and Ace Cook, where you could get a bowl of Rin branded ramen based on the School Idol movie. A lot of fans joke about eating the bowl 10 years after it was released, and since I am Noodle, if anyone has this, send this to me so I can eat it and die. Throughout the Love Life series, there have been retcons of certain character traits or ideas. These could be early drafts of how characters look like, or details that were quietly removed. You can see it a lot in early Muse and Aqua stories before the anime came out, but you can also see it with Nichigasaki in the transition from All-Stars to the anime. I know retcon isn't the best term for this, but with how many drafts Love Life goes through from the short stories to the music videos to the eventual anime, it's very obvious some things will change. I mean, look at the Muse manga compared to the anime. Some shit does not line up. Yes, Justin Bieber and Muse breathed the same air at some point in 2015. This was during a TV Asahi broadcast, and while I can't find any footage, there are a bunch of photos detailing this encounter. Very bizarre. Cuckoo Silver Object refers to the silver statue of Cuckoo that was made. It was expensive as fuck and looks like a bootleg. This is unironically god awful, and I'm surprised Love Life even allows it to be made and also purchased. But I will in fact steal it if anyone has it. The original version of Omoi yo Hitotsu ni Naru was performed with 8 members, with Riko canonically playing in the piano tournament. This was accurately represented in Aqua's first live, which I referenced during the piano incident. However, at Aqua's 4th live, fans were caught off guard as Rikako joined the cast of Aqua to perform a full 9-member version of the song, creating a very iconic moment. Okay, this one is really awesome. In case you guys don't remember, voting is a large part of Love Life. Vote on character icons, names, yada yada. So when it was announced Shioriko, Lanju, and Mia were going to be in a subunit together, people were allowed to submit subunit names that could be potentially used. When the polling officially started, one of the choices was Rebirth by someone named Rin Senpai. Now Rin Senpai, now known as Rin Taicho, was a very popular Love Life YouTuber that created a bunch of Sif and Sifa's content. She's an avid enjoyer of Love Life and submitted a name as she felt the name Rebirth represented the rebirth that all 3 characters went through. Lo and behold, that name won, and Rin Taicho now has her name cemented in the Love Life history. Yay! Aquas did a performance at USJ and the minions appeared. Yup. This entry refers to the change of Toy's voice in the early Muse days. It seems to have gone way higher at some point, and that has remained the constant for all her future songs. Her voice was a bit more chill and lower, and honestly, I don't dislike it. I actually think it's pretty good, but it was something changed at some point. In an image taken after Shibuya no Uta in 2019, in which both Twice and Aqua had an appearance, there was an Aqua movie single that was being held by Momo. What does this mean? I don't know, but it is cool to see crossovers like these. Shizalia Kiss is an April Fool's song that goes hard as fuck. It had a whole animated music video and a live performance, and for some reason, this song has not been put on streaming services. It makes me upset every day, as it's a banger song. This was a bitch to find, but there were actual Civ competitions. I can't find the live streams for the life of me, but I swear I've seen it. It was a live stream and 4 people would play a song and it would be a challenge to see who got the highest score. I only have this footage from a sort of tournament at Japan Expo, but trust me, it was real. I remember watching it for fun. Anju Inami, the seiyuu for Chika, originally auditioned for the role of Hanamaru, although that's not fully true. She auditioned for Chika, Riko, and Hanamaru, but stated that she really wanted to be Hanamaru. Very interesting piece of lore, and honestly I can see Anchan as Hanamaru, but you can easily see why she was eventually chosen as Chika. The Terra Chika Nesso refers to this giant inflatable Chika Nesso that was alive for a bit in Numa Zoo. Obviously it didn't last that long, God rest his soul, for being the biggest Nesso in its entire life. iPhone shower refers to an incident in which Moeka Koizumi, the seiyuu for Shioriko, revealed that her photos have been blurry recently, and when asked why this was the case, she said it was because she showered her phone. This would become popular on Japanese Twitter, and it would skyrocket even more when it was referenced during a Love Life livestream for Niji's second live. This would begin the association between Shioriko and the iPhone shower, in which many memes would reference this event, both around Love Life and in other places. Gyakuten Live is a fan game based on Love Life and the Ace Attorney series, placing the cast of Love Life, primarily Nijigasaki, into Ace Attorney-ass situations where you need to defend a client and uncover mysteries and stuff. It's a very fun game developed by Crackalack, and if you enjoy the Ace Attorney series or Love Life, feel free to play it. It's free and currently has free chapters. Yes, Love Life has premiered on Disney. Layla was on Disney+, Nijigasaki just got re-aired on the Disney Channel in Japan. Yeah, you can consider them Disney princesses if you want to get that technicality. Thanks to Shoe Cream, we even have images of this actually broadcasting, which is super funny. I remember Love Life being premiered on Disney XD and censoring the washi-washi, but that might have been fake? Who knows? If anyone knows, just let me know, man. Lanju Jong was a character introduced at the end of Season 1 of All-Stars, being teased as a new school idol. I have a whole video about this, so I'm sorry to self-advertise, this is too much info to talk about. She was controversial. She did shit to damage her rep that may or may not be responsible due to the shitty writers. Regardless though, she's one of my favorite characters in the series, and I have absolutely no bias in saying that. She's a very influential character in the Love Life series and how they portray rivals, or any sort of angst/tension in the franchise. She's on the same level of impactfulness as Shioriko in terms of breaking traditions, and also she got changed in the anime. William Shatner, who you may know as Captain Kirk in the Star Trek series, likes Umi. Yep, how do I tell my dad about this? Sexy Home Tutor refers to a live stream event where the cast of Chiron had to act as home tutors. And Furiren, the seiyuu for Ruby, attempted something that was supposed to be sexy, but failed miserably. Gesto is the phrase Kachimachi uses in the Hostosaurus series whenever she feels like it, either be getting ready for a goal or to do her best. She's me while recording. Gesto! In the intermissions for Guilty Kiss's new romantic Sado Live, the entire scene is a Gundam reference down to the art style and visuals. It's very endearing and sweet, but I don't know Gundam like that, so my bad. There was a Snapchat filter that put Rina Tanoji's boy in your face. Chiemi Tanaka, Rina's seiyuu, used it in the clip. In the manga, there's a chapter where Rin and Hanayo confess their love for each other and kiss. It's very sweet, and hey, you can consider it canon if you want. I talked about it in my Love Live Ships video. Before Rin's color was officially yellow, it was originally teal/green. A video by Blue Ape Note goes into this with more detail, but it is interesting seeing the color change happen in real time. Back in 2019, Siberia Hills sold Billie Eilish merch that contained stolen fan art of Nozomi. This blew up for obvious reasons, and the merch was quickly discontinued and an apology was made. I doubt Billie Eilish was directly responsible for this, but it is funny to think about. In All-Stars on Yoshiko's birthday, Aimu has a message for her stating that she hopes Shioriko, Yohane, has a happy birthday. Oh, right, fallen angels aren't cheerful. I hope you burn in hell. Wait, that's not right. Perfect, Aimu. MTV Unplugged is a very popular program featuring popular artists, as they usually do some sort of acoustic/unplugged versions of their songs. Just a chill, raw version that's down to earth. And guess who got to appear on here? That's right, Liela. They got to perform some acoustic versions of their songs, and it's really cool Love Life got to be a part of this. It's a common meme that Love Life contains no males, or they're borderline extinct. Males barely get any presence in the show, and oftentimes their entire face is obscured in the anime. The only times you really get to see them are via other pieces of media, although that did change with Cuckoo's dad getting a full appearance in Superstar Season 3. Obviously, males do exist as many of the characters' fathers are referenced, but it is fun to talk about since dudes get no presence in the show. The Tokimeki Nijiverse is an official term used to address the world and universes of Nijigasaki. From All-Stars to the anime to Nijion, this essentially makes the Nijigasaki multiverse real. Now where's Famitsu 4, IMO? Dead or Alive is a fighting game series developed by Team Ninja that's commonly known for having a ton of sexual elements, along with being a really good fighting game. There's really nothing that connects it to Love Life besides both series having a character named Honoka that also have a similar hairstyle. I would chalk it up to coincidence, but our character was actually created in 2015. 2 years after School the project premiered, so I won't lie, it's probably a reference, and everyone acknowledges it as well. Nijigasaki of the Rebellion is a somewhat weekly comic series premiering on the Twitter account for Love Life Nijigasaki. It's illustrated and written by the same person who did it for Mitsu 4 Komas and its shows. Following the cast of Nijigasaki and Love Life as a whole, they go on clusterfuck adventures that is just bizarre. That's all I can describe it as. It has amazing art and really fun moments that reference events both in the series and also real life. Kasuball is Kasabi as a ball. It was originally depicted in a mini drama, but it's been popularized by Love Life fan Gip, who has ball versions of almost all of the Love Life cast. They are adorable and bounce everywhere. Hasu Minecraft refers to Hostosaur's playthrough of Minecraft via the Mitakuda Park game. They play Minecraft as their characters, and it's a really funny series. Even Kachamachi from Dolchestra gets to make an appearance. In the Love Life School Idol movie, the cast of Muse take a trip to New York, where a bunch of locations are shown. One of these said locations is a restaurant that Muse eats at, which is a real place. It's just called Kenka instead of what's called in the movie. 2 specific viewers requested it, as they themselves went to the restaurant a couple times, and apparently they had Nesaberries on display in there, which is really nice. Hime Gin refers to the shipping between Hime and Ginko from Hosonosora. Unfortunately, Hosonosora fans infected the livestream, so I was forced against my will to put them here. They're an adorable ship though. Tokimeki Run Runs is a free mobile game where you play as the Nijigasaki cast in which you run and jump. It's a very simple free-to-play game and it's for free. I think my Sandy's slowly breaking here. I don't think I have it in me anymore. I think I want to... In Numazu, certain potholes were given designs featuring some of the Aqua members. Unfortunately, it was vandalized at some point and had to be pulled down. It isn't all bad though, because shortly after they got pulled off, it was announced they'd be reinstalled so Aqua never dies. In Love Live Bluebird's initial teaser, the character Poka was featured, leading many to wonder what her deal was, as she harbored a level of sadness within her. After the official character info came out, it was revealed that she sucks at math. She sucks so bad that's a core part of her lore, as she was the lowest of the low in terms of ranking. I'm primarily joking with this entry, as her failing math is actually connected deeply to her character and how she perseveres for it, but many fans found it humorous by saying that the reason why she was sad was because she failed math, which is partially true. If you got married in Numazu, your marriage certificate could include Aqua's members on it, which is absolutely amazing. It's touched upon in Red Joker's video, but according to Twitter, it's more of a marriage registration form, but it's still fun to think about. Okay, this one is pretty simple. During a Sifa's livestream, Ed Sheeran just randomly shows up for a few seconds. No, genuinely, he just appears and disappears. It is so funny, and obviously a mistake, but what happened here? Alan is Rena's robot cat in Sifa's. Yeah, that's all I got. Okay, I'm playing. Alan is also used for Rena's alias during the song Cheer Mode, a possible reference to a robot cat that hasn't appeared yet in the anime canon. It's a common meme to make you into a sort of harem relationship with all the members of Nijigasaki. It's played up really often with how much everyone loves you, and she can't choose just one, leading her to love everyone. It makes you easily shippable with any Love Life character for that reason, so in a sense, you can easily interpret it that way, unless you dislike the term harem, which I get. 20 Beers is a reference to when Currypons of the 102nd members of Hosonosora were revealed, where Megami was strangely given green hair instead of brown hair. This caused many memes wondering what happened to Megami, with one of them saying 20 beers. After Megami was restored to her glory, a new gif was made of 20 beers ain't shit before transitioning to the green version. It's very funny, because 20 beers ain't shit. School Idol Foka is a fan anime parody of Love Life. Apparently, it has a cult following to the point it was suggested in the livestream, so I decided to include it. It's in Spanish, but you're in luck, they have English subtitles, so now you have no excuse not to watch it. I won't knock it though, it has clear passion and effort put into it. Yandere Ayamu is a meme referencing many of Ayamu's obsessive and borderline creepy behaviors. In almost all forms of media, Ayamu has some traces of behaviors that could be interpreted as being a yandere, and the anime pushed that even more. A lot of Seiyu live streams and stuff like Nijo and Animation paint Ayamu in a possessive manner to the point where I'm not too surprised that people call her that. In School Idol Diary Seaside Diary 03, Daya's section contains a conversation which Ruby asks Daya if she's having a marriage meeting, with Daya dismissing it. A lot of her family history is talked about here, and how Daya accepts that she may one day be forced to marry a man and inherit the Kurosawa business. She has no freedom in her future, and of course the talks about marriage are just rumors because Ruby heard about it, but when Daya really thinks about it, if she was forced to have an arranged marriage, her ass would run away, and obviously, good for her. Suzuko Mimori, the seiyuu for Umi, sent a birthday message as Umi to Ado the artist, who's very well known for being an Umi fan. It's an insane video of how Ado reacts, and I'll just play it here.
というわけで、以上、園田海でした。
On August 21st, 2025, the Nijigasaki website would experience a hack to advertise the second Niji movie. After that, the website would be restored back to normal. For April Fools in 2021, the Love Live Sunshine website would be changed to an Aqua vs Aliens game. The art style represented the one used for Cotton Candy AAO, and looking at the gameplay, oh sweet god. It's a very interesting game, and I really hope later April Fools do something like this again.
Bye, Richard.
Bye, Chica. I love you.
No, you don't.
This entry can refer to two things. When Mia and Laundry were revealed in Chapter 19 of All Stars, fans immediately knew they were going to be the next members due to the title card of their names, which were yellow, matching the other Nijigasaki members. The usual color for background characters was a gray/bluish color, so the fact it was yellow told us they had a future waiting for them. As for the leak, before the second season of the Nijigasaki anime was revealed, a leaked listing of the upcoming 6th volume of the Capsule Rubber mascot line revealed Lanju, Mia, Shiroriko, alongside Yu, who was an anime exclusive character. Piece it together and you'll understand why this was a leak. The TikTok page for Hospital Store has subbed the characters performing dances and songs, and these are done with the actual 3D models being motion captured, adding a level of funny immersion. At Aqua's final live, when Yuki Doki Ni starts playing, the fans began singing the song alongside the seiyus, creating this incredible emotional moment. Nanjo Knees refers to the leg injury Yoshino Nanjo, the seiyu for Ellie, suffered prior to the final live. It's a very unfortunate moment, and I'm just glad she didn't suffer any more injuries during the live. In Love Live's first fan book, it is directly stated Rin's charm point is her cute round butt. Their words, not mine. During Hosono Sora's second live, during Runway, performed by Kokona Nanaka, she would mess up the lyrics multiple times, similar to Rikako with the piano. This wasn't just one time, she messed up 2 times to the point staff gave her a quick break, in which everyone started chanting her name. After that, she was able to do it perfectly. I always love how the fans gather together to support the seiyus whenever something unfortunate happens. During a performance of Bryce Melody in 2019 for Aqua's World Live Tour in LA, a 7.1 magnitude earthquake occurred while they were performing. Luckily no one was injured, but Love Live fans can now say their Oshis performed during an earthquake. In Yoshiko's character info page, it stated that she dislikes Mikons. There is a bit of lore behind this that's explained in All Stars, as when she was younger she ate too many Mikons, and because of that she hates them. Yup, Moe-Pia originally auditioned for Love Live Sunshine before failing, and later auditioning for Nijigasaki in 2017, in which she got the role of Shiroriko Mifune. I couldn't find a full source for this, but stayed both on a wiki and this one Reddit post from a reliable user I know. Interesting to know that Moe-Pia was already going to be Shiroriko for 3 years until she was officially revealed in All Stars in 2020. I already mentioned this earlier, but yeah, some of the Hosono members officially auditioned for Leela. Kaho's Seiyu is already one I mentioned, so yep, that's only one. I don't know why I made a plural. In the My Little Pony G5 comics, Honoka makes an appearance as the actual pony. It's just a cameo appearance, but the artist did confirm this is supposed to be Honoka, so hey, after Honoka became a school idol, she became a pony. Yuhei Madota is the official character designer for the Love Live series, and he's made a bunch of art books detailing a ton of character designs, with some looking like potential Love Live characters. His art book is literally called How to Create Hit Character Designs, so if you want to see more of it, go buy it or something. Cuckoo's dad is one of the few male characters to be fully shown. Other fathers in the series got off-screen appearances, usually only showing their body. Cuckoo's dad, however, is an exception, getting his face fully shown, which shows how much Love Live has evolved. We saw a full adult dude. Wow. Before Pei-chan, the seiyuu for Sumire, turned 18, a cardboard cutout of her was used during a live stream in which she wasn't allowed to stay out late due to her age. This cardboard was a 1:1 scale of her, which made it incredibly funny. Hosono Sora and Bluebird are the 2 current Love Live series to canonically take place in real time. Bluebird references real life events along with having time pass by via tweets updating what they're doing, and Hosono Sora has had time pass by since their app initially started in 2023. We've seen how these characters in the world around them evolve in real time, and to those that have followed since the beginning, it's very immersive seeing them grow up. Emi Nita, the seiyuu for Honoka, has had a history of vocal-related illness that damaged her ability to sing. It's been an on and off thing, as she's recovered from it, but later reports indicate that it's come back in small forms. Although as of right now, I don't think she's affected by it if the age of tour is anything to go off by. In the cover art for Wonderful Rush, it seems that Ellie was rushed in? She's placed deep in the background, doesn't have a hat like the others, and just looks placed in after the fact. I don't know why I include the jacket. Suma Yoji refers to the alias used by Hime on Yoji Online. Before her official introduction to the series, she actually made cameo appearances in some Miracle Parker's live streams. And it creates a double level of immersion since it's established that she was already a fan of Miracle Parker in the story, so having her be in the actual live stream comments is very cool. I love the dedication to the bit. In the original Dengeki G issues, it was revealed that Ellie and Umi had a brother, although this was later written off, and we now know Ellie has a sister instead of a brother now. As for Umi, solo child. The sources say this is from Dengeki G, but I checked my Love Live history book and I can't really find anything relating to Umi's brother, but it's all in Japanese, so maybe I missed something. In the original teaser for Perfect Dream Project, silhouettes of the other Nijigasaki characters are shown. For Rina, we get an exclusive look at a sprite that we never get to see fully. She obviously didn't have her faceboard on, but look at the sprites closely, and you'll see the sprite doesn't match up with the one of her wearing a Rina board, nor the one where she doesn't. Her right hand is lifted up instead of down for some reason, so it's a mystery as to what the sprite fully looked like. When Muse was initially revealed, the designs and art style for the characters are very different. I don't need to describe it that much, just look at that. Similar to Hime on Yoji, Ginko got an appearance before she was officially revealed. In a Link-like Love Life card featuring Koze, a girl with a horrible looking bob was spotted in the card. Lo and behold, it was Ginko, and she even directly mentions being there in that card. It was like a school open field trip for students to come visit the school, so that's why Ginko was there. Love Life Sunshine got an ad promo on Mexican TV. I thought it was intriguing, and so did some of the people in the stream chat, so I'll slide in here. Rina appeared as a VTuber in a short YouTube video. This is just a one-off video, but hey, it's a neat part of Love Life history. Just a fun fact, but yeah, Nico Seiyu voices Nico and all of her siblings. Yes, even Kotaro, the boy. I probably should have mentioned him way earlier in the males are dead section. I can feel my body riding, my voice is losing its soul, my dreams are diminishing. If you reach this checkpoint, make sure to comment on your favorite Love Life character. Are you ready? Okay, we're ready. Let's continue. Alpharia, this one is for you. Arizona Central, for some reason, sent someone to review the School Idol movie when it premiered, and it's the funniest fucking review ever. It's incredibly funny seeing a non-Love Life fan or even Idol fan experience the movie and question literally everything. Love Life is mid, guys. Some of the cast of Bluebird all played Among Us together. Who's sus? Now this is weird. Back when the beta for Persona 5 leaked, a ton of assets were discovered. A poster of Soldier Game was discovered in the game files for some fucking reason. Why? I don't know, but so interesting. Love Life fans aren't Atlas, I know it. Hosta Sora utilized a form of motion capture to live capture the seiyus as the 3D balls to dance, sing, and perform. For the big concerts, they even rent out huge mocap studios just to ensure they can perform the way they want to. The process and dedication to this mocap is very interesting, and I've done a whole video on it. They could easily switch between singing people and dancing people, but they want to make it as real as possible and have the seiyus do everything. Isn't it so cool I made a video on so many of these topics anyway? Yes, thanks to the Dengeki G 2016 issue, Iranohoshi is classified as a Catholic school. Do with that what you will. Kotaro was created specifically for the anime continuity, as he doesn't appear in any other Love Life media. The other siblings have appeared or been mentioned in other forms of media, such as the School Idol Diary, so it's very bizarre. Love Life Bluebird has done a ton of voting for character icons and even song suggestions. Due to the extensive amount of voting, some have suggested that rigging has been done in order to favor certain results. For something like song suggestions that was done on YouTube, they could easily lie, but for something like Twitter, it seems unlikely, but we know that Twitter's fucking broken as shit, so who knows. The location used for Kanon's house is an actual real location, and unfortunately some fans began harassing the actual owners to the point the Love Life Superstar staff had to apologize. This wouldn't be the only time that this happened. It occurred a bunch of other times with other locations that Superstar showed, so this is sadly a common trend. In the cover art for Future Parade, Lonju has 6 fingers if you really zoom into it. This caused the single to be delayed for a few weeks to fix this issue. Very humorous. In Tokibeki, Road to the Future! The main plot revolves around Anata-chan losing their memories and having to remember each and every one of Nijigasaki members. Depending on the actions you do, you can either remember everyone or no one at all, so the choice is up to you. Hosta Sora fans put me at gunpoint to places here. It's basically a name for Hosta Sora fans. This was actually voted on, and in a way fits the series because Hosta Sora is so fucking long. Continuing on with the Numazu marriage certificate, there was an actual aqua-themed wedding where they announced the certificate. Truly a dream come true. YYY ordered and ate a pizza during their radio show, and I got a direct song/reference in their second single, which is just funny. In Shioriko's ending for the Nijigasaki visual novel, you go to space with her. Yeah, that's I'm not gonna provide context for this one, bro. Go find it yourself. This contains spoilers for the Yohane Metroidvania. At the end of the game, the cast vaguely reflect upon the bottom of the ocean and how it reminds them of the past. It's heavily implied to be Numazu. It is also implied that they're somewhat reincarnations of the characters they once were. It's not fully elaborated on, but it does imply this game takes place in the far future. And thank you Tipo for this, by the way. You remember all those people are in a coma theory that they did for every single series imaginable, Pokemon, Adventure Time? Well, Love Life got too. The theory goes that Hanukkah is in a coma because she got hit by a car in episode 1, and everything after is hallucination. You can take it seriously if you want to, there's some posts going more into detail, but come on man. During a 2023 collab with a Hot Pot Place, cardboard cutouts of the DigiCast were placed inside the store. For some bizarre reason, Yu Takasaki was smaller than the others, causing many to notice and comment on it. She's tinier than Setsuna for crying out loud. For April Fools of 2019, the Love Life Sunshine website was turned into an online entrance exam for Aranaoshi. It's a very silly entrance exam, and possibly canonically explains why the school shut down because this is a horrible exam. Sachi Ogami was the student council president of Hasuna Sora. She would graduate at the end of the 103rd term, and the one reason that she's this far down is because she's cute, and 2, she's the only student council president who doesn't despise school idols. In fact, she sacrificed becoming a school idol in order to ensure the club could live. What does that mean? Well, I guess you gotta go watch it for yourself. I wasn't specific with this entry. The Shanghai incident refers to a fan meet that occurred in Shanghai in 2018. This fan meet was notorious for having a shit ton of things happening that had a negative impact on the fan base. Fans being annoying, seiyus being given gifts filled with disgusting things. Admittedly, a lot of this was rumors, such as with certain gifts that were given to them, but the rowdy and loud nature was recorded and commented on a bunch of times. It's been over 7 years, so information isn't exactly up to date, but it's not remembered that fondly, despite many positive things happening such as the fan gifts for the seiyus. Ice Cream had a collab with McDonald's in which they re-recorded a live performance to have them hold McDonald's items. They also had commercials of the ice cream seiyus eating Big Macs and stuff. These commercials were later taken down, but they're re-uploaded for everyone to have. Yay. During Muse's Go-Go 2015 Live, Yurika Kubo, the seiyuu for Hanayo, would throw a piece of chocolate into the crowd, and the person who got it got beat up and had the chocolate stolen. A lot of people began blaming her for causing the situation in the first place, leading her to private her Twitter, and later announcing her departure from social media besides important events. It's a very unfortunate incident that escalated from her just wanting to give some fans some chocolate. I don't know why we're blaming her, but fuck accountability. Costuming number 2 refers to a mouse toy that Cosplay uses to enact their evil pranks as Costuming number 2. They mainly appear in Sifas, but they got some references in Nijion apparently. This one is a bit more of a seiyuu thing, but it affects love life as well. Sakura Sakakura, the seiyuu for Tamari, was caught up in a credit card controversy when her agency released a credit card tied to her fan club, which allegedly was hard to pay off, to the point many of her fans sent complaints to her directly. This led her to take a massive mental health break, and the agency she was a part of, Starrise, which was supposed to handle, everything about this, never apologized to Sakura-chan or anyone publicly, and it was soon revealed Sakura-chan left Starrise after the whole debacle. It's a very scummy and predatory plan to take as much money away from you, and via Sakura-chan's response, you can easily see that she wasn't down with this, which explains why she left. The reason I bring this up is because due to this event, she needed to take a mental health break that caused her to miss certain lives, and one of them was the Ice Cream Live, which was one of the biggest events due to the ice cream's popularity. It's just really unfortunate that shit had to happen at the time it did. Of course, it shouldn't have happened at all. Yup, just as the title suggests, Shukashu and Furidan were responsible for creating Chika's call and response. I low-key forgot why I put this here because Fork found in kitchen, but there's an official audio drama CD that was animated by a fan that contains Ellie and Nozomi expressing their love for each other, which honestly, yeah, that makes them canon. In Kanon's original character bio, it stated that she's 1/4 Spanish. This is only referenced occasionally, as when the anime came out, everything about her Spanish roots was completely removed/ignored. Kinda sad. Yeah, audio drama. I told you random shit happens in this. Okay, I actually forgot why I put this here, but due to Kanon being a diver and being blue and being a part of the ocean, many people call her a dolphin. Even in her first solo song, she talks about being a fish, so I'm not surprised people really associate her with the creatures of the sea. Bampy Dancy was one of the voting options for the subunit that would eventually be Synchrize. The name Bampy Dancy was notable for being fucking stupid as shit, and everyone rightfully called out for how this name got for the voting. I'm sorry. Kazumi's hair clip is something Shizuku gives to Kazumi as a gift towards the end of the first season of the anime. Despite her receiving this amazing gift, her ass does not wear it most of the time. It's only when she's in a suit or her outfit that she decides to wear it. Does she think she's aura farming or something? I can't move my arms or legs anymore. My vision is getting hazy. What's going on outside this world? In many live streams, the seiyus are shown to be perverts to either the drawings that are given or the figures they're looking at. It's mostly played for jokes and giggles, but I don't know. I got my eyes on some of them. I already mentioned it, but Emi Nita bought 10 copies of Bokudan no Live Kimito no Live with her money. It wasn't her dad, it was her. While this entry can refer to the 4 comas and All-Stars, this specific one refers to the OVA that was created for the duo song Muteki Kyo Believer and Mirai Harmony. In it, we get to see an anime art style version of the Nijigasaki story. The one thing that stands out is that Yu Takasaki is nowhere to be found. We don't get to see too much of this version, but for all sakes and purpose, this was a prototype universe before we got the actual anime universe of Nijigasaki. The director of the Nijigasaki anime added a fun fact about this prototype universe. Instead of Kajin discovering who Setsuna was in the anime, there was going to be a scene teasing Ayemu figuring out instead. I don't know, this probably fits in some Setsu Ayu agenda. The theme for the second Nijigasaki movie was leaked at the end of the last day of the Niji fan event in Hokkaido. The only source I have is Shucream, who lives in Japan, and directly stated that, so I'ma take our word. But being real, with how the second movie has been advertised via website hacking, having the main theme leak at the end of a fan event isn't too surprising. Maybe it was on purpose. In the first opening of Love Live Superstar, there's a scene of balls in the background that fans suspect almost correlates to the new members that were revealed. This led some to believe that new members were coming next term, which came true in some sort of way, but looking at the balls isn't exactly good evidence, just a fun coincidence. In early 2022, a 28-year-old man named Kohei Ohori was put on trial for stealing school equipment to get a taste of the world of Love Life. I'm not fucking joking, this is a serious article. Watching Love Life Sunshine made him miss his school days, so he decided to break into schools and steal desks and chairs to recreate the club room. He stole about $600 worth, and although he was going to be sent to jail, he got a suspended sentence of 4 years since he did return it, and he was also suffering from almost losing his job. Needless to say, what the fuck. Hey, you guys like Musume, right? Well, did you know? An-chan was actually Tokai Teo in the early stages of Musume. This is really early on, like 2016 I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Musume was around for a while. Anyway, a lot of people, myself included, suspect that due to An-chan taking on the role of Chika Takami, her priorities in time were very tight to the point she had to sadly drop her role as Tokai Teo. Imagine a world where she decided to stay as Tokai Teo instead of Chika Takami. There was officially branded Genjutsu no Yohane toilet paper. It's expensive as fuck and should only be bought for novelty's sake. Don't use it, man, you'll just taint it. Okay, this is a theory I may have spread around thanks to someone letting me know about it, but it goes like this. In 2017, School Idol Festival announces a 3D CG mode which will have full 3D models and performances. What was the main appeal of All Stars? The 3D models and performances. At this time, Perfect Dream Project was shrouded in a lot of mystery, and not much info was known about it, and the theory goes that even Love Life didn't know what this project was going to be. The only thing we knew was that PDP was directly correlated to Sif because it was made for Sif's anniversary. Going off Reddit posts and Deep Sarah, the person who brought this theory, Sif was not going to be able to handle 3D animation models, and yeah, it's an incredibly old game. So what they have to do? Create a whole new game. That game? Love Life All Stars. This has never been confirmed, but the fact they announced a 3D mode for Sif and never followed up on it tells me that they tried putting it in Sif, realized it was too much for the app, so they made a new app just for it. This leads to the All Stars concept being a Sif add-on before becoming its own entity. But that's just a theory, a gay theory. The Chika skirt instance refers to an event in which a poster involved in the Numazu collab was taken down due to the depiction of Chika Takami's skirt, in which the outline of her crotch was drawn. I'm gonna be fucking real with you guys for a second. I don't think skirts do that, man, so I'm not entirely surprised that was pointed out and pulled down. This sparked a huge controversy with multiple news outlets covering it. In 2022, they would release a postcard version of the poster in which text covered the skirt, most likely to avoid any other controversy. The director of the Nijigasaki anime revealed that in Season 2, Episode 1, Ayumi will be possessed by an alien temporarily during that whole anime intro thing. I guess they're getting revenge for her leaving Mars. Liela, for some reason, has had two characters' birthdays changed. Kuku's birthday was changed from July 7th to July 17th, and they say it was because of Shanghai becoming a special city on that day in 1927, but in 1937 on that same day, the Sino-Japanese War happened, which caused some controversy in Chinese fans. I took that off in the wiki because I'm having trouble explaining this. Natsumi also had her birthday changed from August 13th to August 7th, which is when the Battle of Shanghai broke out in the second Sino-Japanese War, which again caused anger in Chinese fans. How do you do that twice? Love Life is Dead refers to the thought or mindset that Love Life is dead. It can be how it fell from its peak or it doesn't have any more content. This is something you'll see from many parts of the internet. Now I tend to joke about this statement a lot because it's funny as fuck coming as a Love Life fan, but even I can't deny that the saying comes from a bit of truth regarding its popularity and somewhat content. To many people, Love Life has died / doesn't appeal to them anymore. Maybe they grew up or got different tastes, but either way, the worldwide boom Love Life has had is no longer there, so it makes sense that statement exists. But if you ask me, it was the games dying and COVID that really fucked us over. When Nijigasaki first started, it was considered the black sheep due to not following any of the Love Life traditions that Muse and Aqua had established. It was a side project, split into groups of 3, and had their own comic series. They were directionless for a while. They went for the concept of solo idols, they had a whole game to flesh their characters out instead of getting an anime. They were small potatoes back then. Obviously that isn't the case now, but back then when Aqua and Muse still had a large presence, it was very reasonable to call Nijigasaki the little sister or the black sheep. Okay, this one is weird. Basically, people think Kaho has this world-bending skills that she uses in the series. She partially breaks the Link-like love life system in the story, as she has the users use their energy to give them enough bandwidth to stream. I wasn't able to get much info on this besides the story chapter, since it was something you need to actually be there for. The biggest piece of evidence, or cope that fans have though, is that Kaho is apparently going to reset the timeline to ensure she and Koze can be together or some shit, since Koze already graduated. Some people think that with the movie coming out, it's gonna end the universe reset or something, giving Koze's voice line in the teaser trailer. I'd sound fucking insane saying this out loud. A lot of people know this theory actually, I don't know why it's so low, but the Hanukkah god theory goes that Hanukkah has some innate god powers that allow her to change the weather, change how old she is, time travel, literally everything that's impossible to happen is because of Hanukkah having some innate godlike powers, which I totally believe. Wien Magadet's name is confusing as fuck. People thought it was Margaret, but even with the character bio, we didn't know which name it was. Was it Margaret Rien or Rien Margaret? Multiple pieces of merchandise contradict each other on the order of her name. Fans had to go look through how surnames work in order to figure out which one was right. I'm pretty sure the whole deal though is that Rien Margaret is her full name, but she just prefers to be called Margaret, which honestly, you know what? Okay. Yeah, Genjutsu no Yohane started out as an April Fool's joke for 2022 until it was soon revealed to be a real series. Never trust April Fool's jokes, guys. It can be real when you least expect it. Also, I'm sorry, my voice is dying. Within the files of Link Like Love Life are certain images that would often be used as placeholders for the thumbnails of live streams. This one of Kaho was the one primarily used, but it was discovered there were a multitude of these placeholder images, and a lot of them have never been officially released, and the only one that did got changed a lot. It's interesting to see somewhat concept art of Hosuna Sora before it officially started. Aqua's world tour refers to a potential world tour that was never done. I've talked about sometimes in my videos, but leaked merchandise revealed that a world tour was potentially planned for Aqua after the 6th live, supposedly the West thanks to the tagline of the final performance dates. Obviously, COVID halted this, as the 6th live had to change entirely. I'll always look at that Go West with so much hope knowing that'll never happen anymore. For everyone in YouTube's sake, since I know they're looking at me excitedly to shoot me, I'm not showing this. But there was a glitch in the School of the Festival arcade game in which the models would be nude with no clothes. Obviously, they didn't model/texture the private parts, but it was bad to the point the CFlick account needed to make a tweet addressing it and saying they were going to patch it. This appearance of BWH refers to the measurements of a character's bust, weight, and hip. Starting from Liela, these measurements would be removed, and the only measurement we got was their height. There's been no official reason for this as far as I know, but you can create some explainable reasons. Niji character assassination refers to the many forms of adaptations that Nijigasaki has had that has butchered characters and plot points. It's mainly been pointed at the anime due to its limited time frame along with narrative decisions that split away from the All-Stars timeline. It's inevitable that a game like All-Stars couldn't be faithfully translated, but I'ma keep it real, some characters got sidelined hard in the anime. And some events like Lanji were almost gone entirely. I'm really hoping the movies can rectify some of this. Remember Sakurako Kimino? Well, she would sometimes give out prompts to the city to act to, and one of them was how they would deal with a criminal. We get a multitude of reactions on how the characters would react, but when it gets to Baki, her action is flashing the criminal. I'm gonna let you think for yourself on this one. We're getting to the point where I'm gonna have you guys narrate the rest of the video because I'm dead as fuck. Remember Puchiguru? Well, it's revived in the form of Puchi Hasu, an exclusive browser game that is just Puchiguru but for the Hasu gang. The soundtrack goes incredibly hard for some reason. When Civ 2 was being advertised, they made trailers for every character that contained their voice lines. However, when it came to Setsuna's, hers was completely silent, most likely due to the seiyuu of Setsuna changing as the trailer was made. It gives the trailer a bit of an eerie feeling due to the happy music with no voice whatsoever. This one is very interesting, which is why I say for a lot of entries by me at this time. Pretty Rhythm is a multimedia series similar to Love Life. It has anime, games, etc. Kyogoku Takahiko, who you may know as the director of the Love Life anime, worked on CGI for the second season of the Pretty Rhythm anime. According to this article, his experience working on Pretty Rhythm put him on good terms with the CGI director of Pretty Rhythm, to the point he was allowed to reuse certain CG assets for Love Life, and one of these reused assets was in fact the feather. So yes, Love Life borrowed the feather CGI model from Pretty Rhythm. Obviously, the whole feather motif was already a thing beforehand, and it was only in season 2 where the CGI model was used, but it's still interesting to think about. With a series like Love Life that is both region locked and over a decade old, there's a lot of stuff missing. Old live streams, old magazines, and the depths of online websites, there's so much to uncover. I myself have done my best to try to find certain lost media that you'll see later on in this video, but coming from someone who makes Love Life videos, Love Life is not archived the best, so if you have something, please archive it and release it publicly. Please. During the confrontation between Ayumu and Yu in Season 1 Episode 11, a different track was intended to play instead of the one we got. It's a very somber piano piece, representing the emotions that Ayumu was feeling at this moment. The director of the Niji anime has commented on this, saying it was intended to be in the episode, but it proved to be a bit too intense, so they switched it out. On the shirt design for Civ 2, Shiroriko is mistakenly said to be from Yuigaoka. For those that don't know, she's from Nijigasaki. I don't know how they messed that one up. Ifudodo is a song that Dolchestra covered that got a bit of flack due to the song. For those unaware, the song is very sexual, having moany and sexually explicit lyrics. This isn't exactly new for Love Life, but what came as a bit worrying is that Sayaka Seiyuu was underage when she sang the song, so it's not surprised it's got a bit of controversy. When Suzuki Mimoren, the seiyuu for Umi, got married, a certain Ellie Umi fan had a reaction. This reaction was genuinely insane, and people rightfully called them out for their behavior. There's a line between having emotions and acting out on emotions, and we clearly see what path they chose, and it's both depressing as fuck and also incredibly creepy and parasocial. They upload this publicly, by the way. Oh god, I think I see the light. Could it be? Is it almost over? Wait, no, we're deeper. How would I see light? Anyway. Okay, this one's a bit of a mouthful. Deleted user on Reddit posted a theory saying that Emma winning the poll that dictated the future of Nijigasaki was out of nowhere and ruined the initial plans the Love Life brand had for it. Using previous Japanese poll results, they dictated that Love Life had suspected that a certain group of end goals would win instead of Emma, so when they began making plans for PDP, they planned for them to win. When Emma won, it completely shifted the structure of Nijigasaki due to Emma being a third year. The user believes Aya Miyashita, a second year, was originally intended to be a third year, but due to Emma winning, she had to get demoted to second year. One of the end goals who were high on the results was Kasane, and they theorized that staff wanted her to win to fit the Genki Energy leader, and she was a second year, so it fit in with the usual Love Life formula. But due to Emma winning, that leader was gone, so staff had to improvise. In response, they created Setsuna and Ayumu. Honestly, for some fucking reason, I believe this theory. Ayumu's hair bun's alive and scares the shit out of Mia Taylor. Okay, this one's a partial joke, but in one of the audio dramas, Nico and Maki are doing some role playing, and when Maki is about to confess to Nico suddenly says they're blood-related siblings. I made a whole video on this and how the timeline is kind of fucked if you think about it. I know the timeline isn't something to really think about when watching this series, but to someone like me, I'm interested in this kind of stuff. We get connections to the universe, but nothing exactly says when and where a series takes place. And with Bluebird in the picture saying school idols are extinct, my brain hurts. Okay, this one sucks for the artist. Basically, when the cover art for Key of Light came out for Hasuna Sora, it immediately got hit with a ton of AI accusations that many accounts of social media picked up on. Short and to the point, it wasn't AI, but fuck did not do anything good for Love Life's reputation. Fuck generative AI. During a planned Sunshine performance at Saitama's MetLife Dome, a 17-year-old was discovered to have made bomb threats towards the venue, and when he was inevitably caught, he stated that he just wanted attention. Anyway, the concert went on as normal. I was curious about the source since there was only one article about it, but looking for the Internet Archive, yep, it's real. Rin was used as a stand-in for Baby Jesus at someone's church. Yep, Rin is Baby Jesus. Bluebird was initially teased at the end of the Love Life Asia tour, and it's well known for its very unique tone. It's very ambient, calm, even a bit eerie. A lot of fans took note of this, wondering what kind of tone this new project was going to be. Was it going to be dark, more serious? I won't knock Bluebird for this, but this teaser. Man, this teaser was something. I don't know why it's so low, I just felt like it. The Hasuna Sora COVID theory was brought to my attention thanks to my hostel video I made a long while back. Basically, to provide some context, a big motivation for Sachi, the student council president, is to preserve the school idol club and retain its legacy. She used to be a school idol herself, but at some point she became the last member, so she sought other members to continue the club. One question you may have is, how was Sachi the last member? Well, the Hasuna Sora COVID theory explains this. Because Hasuna Sora takes place in real time, this means the 103rd term takes place in 2023, and the 104th term takes place in 2024. That also means the 102nd term takes place in 2022, and the 101 term takes place in 2021. If we're to take COVID into account, then the COVID theory gives an explanation that students of Hasuna Sora most likely went remote or online, explaining the lack of members. It's an interesting theory that needs some explanations how COVID actually affected the Love Life universe, but it's intriguing. The topic of Love Life being accessible in 2025 is a very common discussion. Ever since COVID started, I say, a portion of Love Life fans have felt the series is no longer accessible, either via the content or the groups themselves. A part of it comes from marketing and global attention, along with major parts of later Love Life groups remaining in Japan only. It's a debated topic when brought up, and being real, I've expressed my thoughts on the topic in previous videos, but you're free to think of your own thoughts, just be civil at least. You want to see coping to the max? The Zodiac theory proposed that Layla would have 12 members by season 3, matching each of the Zodiacs. We already had the announcement that Tamari and Rian were going to be joining, but that left room for a 12th member. So many, and I mean so many people suspected Kanan's sister Aria would be the last member. They figured out her Seiyu had experience in idol anime. This shit was insane. If Mimo is watching this, I'll always remember your insane cope. Love Life segregation refers to the concept that Love Life groups are to be kept separate at all times and not interact with one another. You might be saying that's fucking stupid and also contradictory since we have Sif and All-Stars, but really think about the bigger picture. For a very long time, Love Life groups weren't allowed to sing other groups' songs, other groups would barely even receive a single mention of them in the anime, and there weren't any crossovers back then. We got a live stream of them talking at some point, but what about like a cross-group performance? Shit like that didn't exist back then. We're kind of lucky now to be honest, which is one thing I'm glad for in modern day Love Life. You can create explainable reasons for all this by the way, such as making sure the focus is on the group and not the past, but no matter what, it pushes the separation between each of the groups. The worldwide website for Love Life is incredibly outdated to the point it has been updated in years for some. Obviously, Hasuna Sora and Bluebird aren't there, but even for the ones that have some English presence, they are barely updated. It's kinda nostalgic though. During a free Love Life blooper performance, apparently someone pulled their dick out and was promptly removed. I don't know why you want to do that, just because it's a free performance doesn't mean you're free to do what you want. As stated in Bluebird's initial premise, school idols are extinct, bringing questions to where this takes place in the Love Life timeline and what happened to cause it. Many fans made jokes saying either Layla or Hostasora caused the death of school idols, but obviously it's symbolically done so the rise of the Bluebird cast can feel more impactful. Yuka the otter is the otter that appears in the Hostasora series. Her real name is Kawaso-kun, and she makes minor appearances in the comics and occasionally gets referenced in some episodes. The name Yuka comes from YouTuber NoodleGirl, who named the otter due to a combination of— hold the fucking phone, myself advertising my own video? In the Bluebird universe, it's been established that Aqua and Muse existed, as certain tweets reference their existence. This has been proven to be the case even more with Shion's character, who explicitly has Umi Sonoda as her Oshi. Along with that, Kotori supposedly makes a cameo appearance as Chun-sensei, and as dead as Kotori, there's no other person it could be. It's unclear what the plan is for Bluebird regarding the presence of Muse and Aqua, but it is interesting nonetheless. The theory that the School Idol musical takes place first in the timeline is because of the setting that the series takes place in, as it seems to take place in the time before Muse. Is it true? Probably not, but interesting to think about. Civ 3 stands for School Idol Festival 3, the sequel to Civ 2 that fans crave ever since the majority of the Love Life games have been shut down. Link like I love you, but you're Japan only. People crave for Civ 3. Just a simple mention of it can make fans excited once again, because damn, Civ really was important to the spread of Love Life. So basically, Last and First Idol is a light novel written by Gengen Kusano, and allegedly, this was a Love Life fanfiction that was turned into its own novel, and as you can see, it won some awards. There's no clear source on if it was actually a Love Life fanfic originally. TV tropes state it is, and some Reddit comments seem to reinforce that, and judging based on the topic, you can reasonably assume it took some inspiration from Love Life, but in terms of it being an actual fanfic, who knows? Although the book itself has a lot of gore apparently, so I have some doubts. Yeah, this is not looking good for Love Life fans. Along with Civ 2 being rushed and unpolished, it was discovered via the data code that this was not originally intended to be Civ 2, but a Bandai game called Aharu. Traces of the code reveal instruments, dorms, basically shit that was not in Civ 2. This revelation made a ton of fans even more disappointed, knowing this was not only rushed, but also built off other pieces of code. Like, bro. Ever since Superstar Season 1 and Nijigasake Season 2, Love Life has not received any dubs since then. None for the OVA and movie, none for Superstar Season 2 and 3, it's very bare bones. I know some of you don't watch dubs, but English dubs is very common for every Love Life anime. Even the movies got dubbed, so the question remains, why? People pointed to the translation companies such as Crunchyroll and Funimation, which honestly, they were probably right, but it kinda sucks because I always did like how they translated certain moments into English. Okay, this is a partial joke, but also something that got cock-blocked by COVID. In 2016, Love Life, more specifically Muse, caught the attention of politician Hiroshi Hase, who was a former wrestler and also attended the 1984 Summer Olympics. He attended their final live and apparently loved them so much, he said he wishes to invite the group to perform the opening and closing ceremony for the 2020 Olympic Games. Obviously, that probably wouldn't happen, but also COVID. A lot of Love Life songs have suggestive lyrics that could be interpreted as sexual or straight up that. This was a thing with Muse, and is still present even today with Bluebird. This refers to the fact that I have the Hasu OST and you don't. The Hasu OST is one of the best soundtracks Love Life has to offer, and currently isn't available on any streaming service. Because of this, it's made incredibly rare, and you can totally not just search it up on YouTube. Okay, I'm tired, but I was alerted to this by a TikTok user who said that Yohane's outfits often have her armpits exposed, and it's gotten so bad to the point that the outfits for Aikan, the seiyuu for Yoshiko, has the outfits slightly altered to hide them. I've checked, and it's true. Now we don't know if that's the official reason, but you can probably guess that. Stars Come to Me is the replacement song used for As Time Goes By in the physical release of the dubbed Squaddle movie. This song has not been officially released on streaming services, nor is there a full instrumental version that's been released. This was included specifically in the dub, so it was made just for that. All information on the song is obscure, and no one really knows the origin behind it besides it being a replacement song. The weird thing is that in the feeder version of the School Idol movie dubbed, they just played an instrumental version of As Time Goes By. So why create a special song just for this, with the original singer? It's a mystery that I thought about for a while. I've made a video on it, a short on it, and I urge you, the viewer, to help me if you can because I really wanted the truth behind the song and get the full audio file. NoodleGirl is our YouTuber primarily known for their content in the multimedia idol series known as Love. Wait a goddamn second!
I'm so tired.